heart and my heart will go on and on. Love can touch us one time and last for a lifetime and never let go till we're gone. Love was when I loved you one true time. I hold you in my life will always go on. Here for wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go and on. You're here, there's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. We'll stay forever this way. You safe in my heart, and my heart will go on.
Shamala Hamala, Shamala Ida, speak of the gibberish, Shamala Hamala, Hakuna Mamepo, Hakuna Mamepo. To all my fellow Satanists, pagans, atheists, and even Christians who are just here to chill and learn, blessings, welcome. To all the Christians who come in and are like, you need Jesus, and are butthurt over a photo and a song, let me remind you that the word Satan is nothing more than a descriptive title. So how is everybody doing today? Y'all excited for the debate that's supposed to kick off at 6 p.m. today? So in just over an hour with Workers for Christ, we're going to be covering an interesting verse, specifically Psalms 137:9. So if you're down for that debate, we're going to be going over not only what it is, where it comes from, what it was used for, what it means, and how it pertains to the morality of the Christian God. Yes, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It will kick off in just over an hour. I tried to get Workers to let Wild Canadian be the host, in which we were each a guest so we could all see the comments. But apparently Workers didn't want that, and he only wants a duettable live. Don't know why. Seems kind of sus to me, but what have you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be covering Psalms 137:9. Hey, glad to see you too. I'm so glad that all of you are here. Welcome for being here. No, Wild was not able to convince him. So, like, he absolutely refused to do one in which we had a host. And I even chose Wild being a Christian, meaning that, if anything, it was in his favor, but who knows? So I don't know if it's because he doesn't want me to see the other comments or whatever. I don't really care. I've had to deal with this verse around 360 times. I'm currently having my 9-year-old read Psalms 137 right now, and he's going to be bringing some additional questions after the debate from a childlike mind, so we can go over it so that way you too can help describe what is going on in these books to other people, especially kids who have questions. How's everybody doing today? Shamala hamla, shamala hida, hakuna mamepo. Rapatata, rapatata, rikamoda, shamala hamla, hakuna mamepo. You're going to talk about and why you have to say because it won't be here. I'm that guy. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we're covering Psalms 137:9. So let me go ahead and read it to you. Asra se yochez. When it is it olila yik el hashala. Blessed the ones who take and dashes your little ones against the rocks. Okay, Kiana, which Satan? Satan is a descriptive title. You do know that, right? I mean, your own God is referenced as a Satan. If you read 2 Samuel chapter 24, verses 1 through 3, and then read 1 Chronicles 21, verses 1 through 3, it's the exact same story. And in one, he is called Lord. In the other, he is called Satan, or Shayatin. Or in Proto-Hebrew, Hashatan. Why would I read Paul's gospel? Paul was nothing more than the Joseph Smith of his time. Yes, I'm currently taking guests right now up until the debate. Evening, how you doing? Can you hear me all right? Satan is a good guy. Can you hear me? Yeah, it looks like he froze. Go ahead and resend the request, man, and I can pull you back. Yes. And here's another question. Tell us the actual writers of these gospels. I'm not trying to prove anything. It's just education. And like I said, we're going to be doing a debate with Workers for Christ at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so just over an hour. And we're going to be covering Psalms 137:9. Okay, again, Satan is just a descriptive title. It is not a specific individual.
Yeah, there's multiple people named that.
I know, Skeptic. It's crazy how many times we got to say it, isn't it? What's up? Can you hear me all right? Your sound's not coming in at all. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Do you want to try it one more time? Which Jesus is king? Can you tell us which Jesus? Hey, babe, is he coming through in sound? Evening,
Okay.
Blended. How you doing? Can you hear me all right?
Oh, hello.
Can you hear me all right?
Um, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, right on.
Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you.
Which?
Jesus loves you, and it's not going to be a party in hell.
Okay, so
Okay?
couple questions. Which Jesus and which hell are you referring to?
The Christian one.
Which one? The carpenter, the rabbi, or the hippie? And which hell?
Oh
Gehenna,
my god.
Sheol, Hades, or Tartarus?
Can you, like, shut the hell up?
I
Like,
mean,
there's
you're the
only
one
one
who.
Jesus.
No, there were numerous Jesuses,
There's,
and that's actually isn't his real name.
no,
In
there
English, it
was
would have been
only one,
Joshua.
okay? Okay? There was only one. The Messiah himself, okay?
Okay, so which Messiah? Messiah just means anointed one.
Jesus.
Okay, there was no actual Jesus. There was a Yeshua, which would translate to Joshua.
Oh my god.
Do you even know your God's actual name?
Mm.
Didn't think so.
You're an atheist.
What's up, Canadian? How you doing? Can you hear me, Wild? We're gonna have you out and then come back in. I don't know what's going on with the live today. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I rebuke Satan. Which Satan are you rebuking? Do you even know? Satan is a descriptive title. How many times do I get to say it? Not here to prove or disprove a God.
Hold
What's up,
on.
Canadian?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me all right?
Test, test. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect.
So do you want to handle this chick? Because
I can.
go for it. All right, I'll bring her up. Have fun. I'll let the Christian educator.
Hi, how's it going, Blood Dude?
Well, I'm not a girl. I'm not a chick.
Well,
Okay.
your profile
Second
pic
of
says
all,
otherwise, so sorry for the assumption.
Okay,
no,
didn't
it
know. I
doesn't say
apologize.
otherwise because I'm a supporter of the person who's in my profile picture.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay, I apologize.
Jesus loves you, and you're gonna come with this Satan BS. Like, no, just no.
Which Satan?
I've got
Oh
this question
my
for you, Blend.
freaking gosh, there's only one. Okay?
Blend.
One.
Blend. I have a Blend. I have a question for you.
Yeah, what?
Can you hear me, Blend? So, what's it say in the Bible about judging people and rebuking people?
That you should do it? Like, that you
Okay,
should
do you
lead
say that you
people
should
so
or
then they
shouldn't?
don't go to hell? You know?
Okay, so you
Yes,
believe we should be judging
Anthony,
people.
bruh, pray for him.
Okay, so you think we should be judging people. You think the Bible tells us to judge people. The Bible says, "Is he or she
Teach
who
people
cast the first stone?"
about God. Okay?
Hey, Wild Canadian, doesn't it
And if
also
you
say
do
that
want to
if
burn in
you're
hell,
if
you
you're
can.
rejected, right, when trying to teach and it happens a second time, what are you supposed to do, Wild Canadian?
Dust your sandals
What do
and
you mean?
walk away.
Oh,
Oh,
then
yeah.
okay, so if you just want to freaking wait, what? God doesn't say you sexualize animals, yet a person is a furry. Oh my gosh. Now people are saying that I'm a furry, like I am, but
Well,
I
then you
don't
definitely
I
can't
don't
be a
like
Christian.
animals.
You
Man,
know,
so
it
and
does talk
by the
about that
way,
you're not supposed to dress as, for example, the opposite sex, to forego pagan images, etc. Furryism is actually a expression of pagan traditions.
Furryism! Furryism!
Yes,
Furryism! Did you just say furryism?
yes.
That is the stupidest stuff
hey,
I have ever heard in my life.
blend,
Furryism.
blend,
You're correct in the heart, yes.
blend. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, why are you coming up showing hate and judgment to this person? The Bible tells you not to do that. The Bible says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." And it also says, "Thou who has cast the first stone is someone who has not sinned." Have you sinned? Have you not sinned?
Ratio.
And they're out. What I will give though is, I mean, this sounded like a younger person,
Here,
and I
hold
mean, I
up.
couldn't really tell,
Can
but
I just
oh,
want
go
to
for it.
Val was asking me to speak louder. Val, is my audio better for you now?
Yeah, it sounds better on my end. L. Ron Hubbard took over as the Beast. That is awesome. They're saying that your audio is good.
Okay, people saying audio is better now. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, I'm
Yep.
gonna start wearing headphones when I'm in your lives. Apparently, people hear me better when I have headphones in.
Yeah, it happens with me sometimes too. Corley, which Jesus? What's up, Cyber Poet? So, while we're waiting for Workers for Christ, did you want to quickly go over some of the key points of 137.9 so at least the people on our end will get a gist and understanding of it before the sparks start flying?
Yeah, just let me flip to it because I don't have that memorized.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and read it in Hebrew real quick. Asra siyohez winipes it ulalayek el hashala.
Oh yeah.
What's up,
Wait,
workers?
Workers in here? Oh,
Yeah, he
how's it
just
going,
entered the
workers?
chat.
How's it going,
We're
workers? How you
actually
doing?
doing a quick recap over the verse that we're going to be debating here in a little bit.
I've got way too many notes in these pages.
Repent and be saved. Satan is just a descriptive title. Jesus and God doesn't heal diseases either. It's funny how we've never seen a miracle in which someone's regrown a limb. Regret what one day, Corley? Yes, Satan is a descriptive title. I'm a Satan. I love you. I mean, I want you to eat at my table, but I still want you to eat. Ah, yes, the lake of fire. So compelling. So loving. How Christian of you.
So much hate in the chats.
I know, right? It's almost like these Christians have never read Matthew 25 verses 33 through 44. I'm sure you did. Well, then how about this? Since God heals so many wounds and everything else, the next time you get sick or anything else, don't ever take medicine. Don't ever go to the doctors. Don't ever trust science. Just pray on it. And maybe you'll get just enough likes on that Facebook post to get that healing.
So you're doing Psalms 137 is what you're going over?
Yeah, we're going to be covering Psalms 137.9 specifically.
Okay, one second. I'm going to turn on my light so I can actually see what I'm reading.
137.9 doesn't prove God's real. It is, which is why we're going over it tonight.
Yeah, one second. I'm going to turn on my light so I can see what I'm reading and actually not be sitting in a dark room.
Dumb people are having smart people try to act dumb, so other people think that they're dumb, and so they're like, oh, blah, 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 and all of a sudden they're facts.
Mm-hmm.
Your kid just spoke facts.
Yeah, he did. That's the 9-year-old, by the way. So, hey, bud, let me ask you, come a little closer so that way they can hear you.
Okay.
So, what do you think about this verse? Blessed are the ones who takes and dashes the little ones against the rock. Is that something you would do?
No,
Why not?
I don't fully understand what it means, but
Okay, so what it means is they're praying to God that their enemies, children's heads be dashed upon the stones to be murdered.
that's not interesting.
Right. Now, they will say that it's excused because they were conquered by the Babylonians, right? And were in servitude, etc. And they did some mean things to their people. But does that make it right to wish that their kids be killed?
No,
No, why not?
because one, the kids are the next generation, aka the only thing they have of surviving, and two, because they weren't the ones that hurt you.
Wow. So the 9-year-old gets it, but the Christians don't.
Your kid got brains.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, Christians. Remember, I consider you a Yeshuan, so I'm not talking about you, Wild.
Well, even
But the
when
Christians up in this chat, like legit, like why is it that the 9-year-old understands this better than the Christians?
there we go.
Oh, now it's not speaking about young children. He's speaking on people that are against him. Your God has personally committed genocide and has said numerous times in which to kill the firstborn of Egypt, to rip a woman's womb open. So the whole, oh, it's not talking about kids. Yes, your little ones.
Kids. Little ones means kids, not teens.
Oh, of course, it's Timbo up in there, but he can do whatever he wants. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. Neutrally 300 is in the house.
Hey, how are you doing?
What's
Hey,
up?
neutrally.
I'm doing great.
Oh, nice to hear from you guys.
Yeah, nice to hear from you too.
Yeah,
No,
hey,
we're
from you.
just waiting to do the debate with Workers for Christ regarding Psalms 137:9.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. T'Challa West, atheism is a lack of belief.
What you need, bud? Okay, put it in the fridge. You can eat it later. Put it
That's
in the
nice.
fridge. You can eat it later. Yeah,
Um,
when it comes to my kid reading, right, he's exposed to every form of theology that is available. Science, mathematics, philosophy, anything he wants to learn about, he can do. And when he gets older, he gets to choose what he gets to follow. And I will back him 100%. If he chooses to be a Christian, cool. If he chooses to be Muslim, cool. If he chooses to be a Buddhist, a Zionist, whatever you want to call, he has the right to be so. And I will love him regardless.
Someone here wants us to
yeah,
read
my
the whole
mom.
psalm, so I'm going to go ahead and read all of Psalm 137.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Read the entire thing.
So, Psalm 137. Beside the rivers of Babylon, we sat and wept as we thought of Jerusalem. We put away our harps, hanging them on branches of poplar trees. For our captors demanded a song from us, our tormentors insisted on a joyful. Sing us one of those songs of Jerusalem. But how can we sing the songs of the Lord while in a pagan land? If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget how to play the harp. Let my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth. If I fail to remember you, if I don't make Jerusalem my greatest joy, O Lord, remember the enmities did on the day the armies of Babylon captured Jerusalem. Destroy it, they yelled. Level it to the ground. O Babylon, you will be destroyed. Happy is one of those who you pay back for what you have done to us. Happy is one who takes your babies and smashes them against the rocks.
Now, hang on real quick. It says what? Dash
In
what?
9?
Does it? No, no. It says dash what? It
Where does it
says
say dash?
babies,
What?
correct?
Oh, yeah. Happy is the one who takes your babies and smashes them against the rocks.
So it's not just children, right? It's babies. It's infants. It's the little ones. Go ahead and keep going.
Oh no, that is all of Psalm 137.
Oh, I know. But if you read just after that into Psalm, actually, if you can do me a favor, go back to Psalms 135, verses, we'll say 5 through 8.
135, 5 through 8.
Mm-hmm.
I know the greatness of the Lord, that the Lord is greater than any other God. The Lord does whatever pleases him throughout all of heaven and earth, and on seas in their depths he causes the clouds to rise over the whole earth. He sends lightning with the rain and releases the wind from his storehouses. He destroyed the firstborn in each Egyptian home, both people and animals.
Yep. So now when it says the firstborn, does that just mean children?
No, both people and animals.
Yep, that could be the firstborn adult of a family. It could be a child. It could be the firstborn of a flock.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Also, I got some new news. I'm actually seeing like a couple of days ago. I actually
Hmm.
left being a Christian, so I'm actually seeing if I could be like a Nordic pagan.
Ooh, right on. So you just started your journey on that?
Yeah, I'm learning a bit more on it.
Right on. Well, hit me up soon, and we'll go over the Prose, Poetic Edda, the Valsanga, and I'll even introduce you to the Gospel of Loki.
Eris
Nice.
9, that verse was Psalms 135, 5 through 8.
Sounds
Yep.
nice. I'm trying to be like, a Norse pagan, but at the same time, I don't know. It just feels like I still believe in God. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a journey, man.
Yeah,
Take your time, learn. Don't just rush to a decision.
sure.
Research, educate. Don't
Yeah.
take anything I say either. Take everything that I say and fact check it.
Well, yeah. Good point.
But it was great to have you here. I've got a couple other people that would like to come up. So hit me up neutrally. Send me a
Yeah.
DM. I'm going to send you a link to my Discord so that way I can get you links to any form of theology you wish to discover.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep. You too, man.
Take care neutrally. Also, J Boston 33. There's out of 93 people in here, there's probably a good percentage of them who are Christian,
Mm-hmm.
including myself.
What's up, Timbo?
Ow, mate.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Just chilling.
I see. I was been listening to you live,
Okay.
uh, and you're talking about smashing babies on rocks and
I mean, that's what the
all
Bible
this,
says.
right? Okay.
What
First
about it?
off, if that's what he says to do, then that's what you do.
So you're perfectly okay with killing children?
If that's what he's saying to do, then that's what you do.
Well, at least you know where to plant your flag. So the rest of
But
us here
yet
know not
you
to let
guys
you be
sit
around our
here and
kids.
mock God, but yet you have women every single day killing babies because they want to have unprotected sex and can't
Well, are you
raise a
referring to
child.
abortions? Wait,
And he don't.
why were they disconnected?
They may have disconnected themselves. One of the other mods may have gotten rid of them. I didn't do anything.
Well, I hope none of the mods did. Did one of the mods do it? Because if not, unblock them because like I want to cover that whole abortion thing. What happened?
TikTok also sometimes decides no and gets rid of people.
Yeah, Blended, you don't get another chance. All right, Witches, what's up?
Yeah, it looks like it's under blocked accounts, but I didn't.
Just trying to put some positive spin for you and like be like give you that boost. I don't know what we're talking about today that's on subject. I've been just sitting at work doing my thing, waiting to go online, so I'm just trying to see what you guys are up to.
Hey PB, not this time, but let us, you and me, have a conversation, and then if everything goes good, I'll make you a mod on the next one. No, I'm gonna be doing a debate with Workers for Christ here at 6 p.m. So in 45 minutes, going over Psalms 137:9.
Oh, so you're going over actual Psalms, huh?
Yes.
Do you not? I don't know. Maybe it's just where you're at, but for me, it gets tiring trying to take that shit too seriously. Like they're using it in such a like leveraged way that I just don't. Doesn't it kind of hurt you to like take those nuanced stances when like, okay, as an example, when Bill Nye debated Ken Ham.
Yeah, that was.
But like really it diminishes science to be in a debate like that.
I agree. But
And so,
like with workers, right? The whole situation started because I've been the only one who's been willing to just have open discussion. And when we first started, addressing each other, I had offered him a debate, and he refused it. And then I said, well, then how about just a Bible study? And he still refused it for like 3 weeks. And then finally, he was willing to come up. We had a great conversation. We deep dived it, etc. We had a second one after that, went good. But then I was following another atheist, and he had, brought something up. The atheist smacked him with the actual verse, and he was like, "Well, then let's debate." And the atheist was like, "Nope, not gonna waste my time." And he's like, "Oh, you're just dodging." And I was like, "I know you didn't just tell this man he's dodging when you dodged me for weeks." And so then he hit me
and
up in the
again,
message. He's like, "Let's debate it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, we'll debate it."
and again, I'm just not sure you're not diminishing the legitimacy of your totally legitimate arguments by letting yourself being dragged. It's like,
Nah,
I
it's no
don't know,
biggie
like,
for me, dude. I deal with this so. I mean, you see it in every life. I have to explain to Christians that the word Satan is just a title.
Can I quickly address two things?
you have
Yeah,
to
go for it.
explain that, but then you also have to like be afraid of people who would bash heads if God told them to.
I ain't afraid of them. I'm the
So
kind of
quickly,
person that'd bash their heads in if they tried.
quickly to address two
Okay.
things.
Yeah,
Go
One,
for it, Canada.
Cyber says the guy was not muted or blocked, so he must have just left.
Okay.
And Emily addressed the other thing I wanted to address in the comments, so I don't need to worry about that.
Well, let me know what happened. What happened in the comments? Like,
Well, one person was just asking what verse was being read about the baby smashing. So I was just
right.
going to say it was Psalm 137, verse 9, but Emily covered
Well, I
that.
mean, if you want a couple of them, right? Hang on. What? What just happened? Oh, I'm so mad.
hi.
Hang on. All right, so you can hit up
Trying to
verses like
flood
Isaiah
away. What's up,
13,
Jose?
16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Hosea 10:14. There shall be a tumult arise among your people and all your fortresses, etc. Hosea 13:16. Samaria shall become desolate, for she has rebelled against her God. And it proceeds to say that they shall be cursed, that their women's wombs shall be ripped open, and their children's heads bashed upon the stones. So that phrase isn't really that uncommon, but in more cases, it's far more of, hey, kill every man, woman, and child. In Numbers 31, it's kill every man, woman, young boy, but keep for yourselves the virgin females. What do you mean, what's wrong with that?
Oh my God. Right. Right. So, and again, like, if you can't see it, why would we debate? If you can't
Exactly.
see why the rape, murder, and pillaging of shit is just like when people talk about God being an ethical and good God, like the Bible seems to disagree. So let's talk about other sources of where your faith comes in, guys, in the comments. Like, tell me about why you believe those things,
Well,
why
here's another
you
thing,
think
isn't
that.
it amazing, Rich, how easily they expose themselves and the kind of mentality that they have? Like, I hope they don't have any job in childcare whatsoever.
Right, but it's like they're not even at the grown-up tables.
No,
God is dead. And they're not even trying to be at the grown-up table. I mean, for me, it's the perfect analogy because they don't get what they want exactly how they want it at the adult table, and they literally start throwing food,
oh yeah, they start throwing fits.
and throwing fits and garbage, and
Oh, thanks, Jazzy.
it just doesn't make any sense why you would entertain, for me at least, anymore. And I'll admit, I'm 20 some years into my deconstruction. Like, I don't hate religion anymore, but I
Oh, I don't.
mostly
I,
have
I I don't hate faiths. I can't stand
I,
organized religion.
I have pity mostly for religion because it just is it's such a weak sauce. is what
I
it
love
comes
how they're
down.
like you're witches and okay, so it depends on what kind of practice you practice. Not all witches are the same.
And it's not like you would know me on the coming up. Like, listen,
Right.
you call me whatever you want, but like your titles mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer. Like, let's get a little what's
Yeah,
that?
Psalms 137:9 is a
Rick
perfect one. We've already had
Rick and Morty.
several Christians. Yeah, Rick and Morty,
Blah.
maple.
Yeah, which you'd be
But like,
surprised like how many titles they give me in these comments, despite the amount of times I tell them I myself am a Christian.
yep,
Well, right,
yep.
because for you, right, you are willing to be in this conversation where you want to have a reasonable, philosophical, intellectual, honest conversation at the adult table, and for them, that is unchristian. If
Yo,
that if you are not being judgmental and hateful and purposely misunderstanding what people are saying, then you're not really a Christian. You're some other, and that's another thing is when you get like you have a bad experience with one church, another church or another Christian group is like, oh well, they weren't really Christian.
real Christians, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Even
So I
though
wanna
even
address
though
Lone
they
Wolf real
support
quick.
them in the fight. I'll go. I'm
So
sorry. I'm right.
no, it's good. It's good. I want to address Lone Wolf here, where he's like Satan isn't evil. He's just another god, and even his name is wrong. His name is Samael. So you are correct and incorrect, and let me explain why. So like, mad props on knowing at least the major part. In the book of Job, for example, right, Satan is in reference to Samael. When you do deeper research, you find that he was basically the left hand of God. He was the angel of death. He is an Elohim, a god, just a lower G god, if you would, depending on who worshipped who, etc. But Satan itself is a title. So in Samael's case, it is a job title. He is the accuser and adversary of men. But like in the New Testament, right, in Matthew 16:23, Peter is referenced as a Satan because he's an adversary to the plan of God. So, like, bravo, Lone Wolf. I'm glad that you've actually done your research, but yeah, for sure. Yes, Satan loves you. I'm a Satan. I love you. I may not like you. I may not want you to eat at my table, but I still want you to eat.
Hey, Wild.
Yeah, what's up?
So we were talking about your Christianity before. Do you ever feel like you end up co-signing on Christianity that you don't agree with?
Yes.
And how does that, what do you, like, how do you process that when another Christian comes to you and is like, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not?
What they say about me truly doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me in any way. I know my belief, I know my faith, and I know what I agree with and what I
And
don't.
it's why you have my respect, bro. Because
Well,
you're convicted in what you believe, and you're willing to challenge it, etc. Yeah.
I admire that. Do you also so when you're talking about your beliefs, do they trump the evidence in front of your face?
They try. Then I throw more stuff back at them.
I mean you personally. Do your beliefs? Do you feel like you have to put belief above evidence and reality? Yeah, we're bored with your comments too, guys.
To a degree, because like I'm not gonna force it upon people. Like if they want to hear about it, I'll talk about it.
Oh no, I mean in your life to you. Like so when you so you have faith, right?
Yes.
You have faith. And how does that faith relate to like physical realities? Do you think that it is reasonable to take an absolutist, like literal view of the Bible?
I don't take an absolute view. No, there's a lot of questions I have about it. There's a lot of things I disagree with, but I take it more of a. I guess you can say it as subjective in a sense.
Yeah.
Like even
well,
people.
Like what I've noticed.
The Bible was written for a certain time.
And people.
Like certain time period and the people who lived during that time.
Well, I imagine that kind of nuance gets you in trouble with other Christians sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But I can ask them how many of them have go up and speak in front of a church and plan entire services. Because I have.
Yeah. I've
I've been
actually just
invited.
started watching one of his sermons, and dude, like the intro that you had on the first one you sent me, spot on. Spot on. I'm liking it.
Thank you. You know,
And
like,
mind you, this is an atheist saying it. Like again, that's why like Cyber Poet, Wild, et cetera, and the other Christians that I'm friends with. The reasons why we're friends is because they take the time to actually research. They're willing to, like, for example, come on my live and we'll Bible study together. We'll shoot different, interpretations. We'll bring up the facts that go behind it, etc. And so we're actually pushing for the knowledge and looking at it objectively instead of just, oh, well, it's God's word. It must be 100% infallible, blah, 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 blah. When, for example, even Wild Canadian admits it was written by man, so there's going to be some things that aren't exactly to God. But what you should do is look at it objectively to see where God speaks. Would that be a fair assumption?
yep.
That has not been my experience with understanding of the Bible with most Christians, which I appreciate and respect, but I do have a little outrage fatigue about having them wave some ridiculous shit like the miracle of the virgin birth in my face, like it's some more proof than any other. So you're a Christian. How did you determine between a religious text of one religion and another religion? How is the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran? How do you stack those against each other in your mind?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's that I stack them against themselves in my mind, because every book of religion or every book of faith has truth in it, I believe. Just like everyone will have.
I mean, I have some
fallacies in it.
debates about Scientology and Mormonism.
Scientology, man.
Scientology
I
and
don't talk-
Mormonism, I wonder. And
I don't bother with Scientology.
and
I don't blame you.
Like I've spoken to Scientologists. It's just like, no, I'm good. No thanks.
Yep.
I mean, I'm down with the Church of Bob Dobbs. So when it comes to ridiculous, I kind of like ridiculous, but they don't take themselves that seriously.
Right.
And one good thing about the Church of the Subgenius, they tarred and feathered their leader when his prophecy didn't come true. Like in public in the 80s.
Yo, did anyone see that conundrum? Atheist geek just said atheists don't exist.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Make that
I'm
make
cool with that.
sense. I mean, atheism is the default setting. You were born an atheist. Oh yeah, you're 100% correct, Shaden. 137.9 was literally basically it's a group of them who, it says it in the entire chapter that they're sitting by the rivers of Babylon. They're captives of Babylon. Babylon is telling them, "Hey, we want to hear some of your ritualistic songs, etc." And they're complaining to God. They're saying, "Yo, why must we suffer this? We expect retribution. We expect that our enemies be punished. We expect that, blah, 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 blah." And, they openly say in their own minds that, hey, it would be nice. We would be joyful if their children's heads be bashed upon the stones.
Psalm 137 is a prayer of vengeance.
Mm-hmm. Just like Psalms 135 is more so an acknowledgement, a prayer of an acknowledgement of his wrath, his glory, etc. So that's why when we look at 137, we can clearly see that there's a reason why they are so willing to say these things. Because one, in warfare, again, we have to look at the ancient societies. In warfare, it's not like nowadays where we have rules of war, right? It was, you could slaughter them, then you took prisoners of war, you took slaves, you took, cattle, you took goods, etc. And the rest of it, you just burned to the ground. Complete annihilation. And so, I mean, you have to look at the societal context. You have to look at their psychology. You have to look at, the time period, who was in power, who wasn't. And that's why when you read texts from other nations, right? For example, if you read the Moabite key or Moabite stone with the Battle of Shamash, and theirs, Shamash won, right? Which, I mean, it kind of still does this in the book of Judges, but in Judges, it's more so because of the lack of faith on the Israelites. But in the Moabite key, it's more so that, with iron chariots and everything else, Shamash was like, all right, yep, you did your sacrifice now. Let me do my job. And so, but that's another thing. These ancient people would take whatever victory they had and give it to their God. So yeah, when you read Psalms like this, yeah, that's what it is. It's the people saying it onto their God. But so how do we know that this is in portraying to their God's character? Well, one, because nowhere before, after, is their God rebuking them for these thoughts. Not once. As a matter of fact, in many other verses afterwards, he re-engages it. So, and in before. So we know that when they say these things, it's because they already believe that he's already done so.
Someone here said Matthew, the prophet Jonah, Matthew 12:39.
Okay, what about it?
So, I take it they're saying read it or mention something about it, so I flip to it. I can read it if people want.
Go for it.
Matthew 12:39 says, "But Jesus replied, only an evil adulterous generation would demand a miraculous sign, but only sign I will give them is the sign of the prophet Jonah."
The sign of the prophet Jonah.
So I don't know why they wanted that read.
So does that mean like the only sign we will have is a story that was written thousands of years ago about a dude swallowed by a sea creature, most likely being either a great fish or a leviathan, sent on to Nineveh, which worshipped Dagon? Like that's what that whole thing was about, was because they worshipped Dagon. Because again, in the Old Testament, many of these wars, right, and curses and miracles were aimed towards the other nations' gods. Even if you look at the 10 curses from upon Egypt, each one is tailored to an Egyptian god. Remember when we went through that, Canadian?
Yep.
Like most Christians, when you tell them that, they're like, no, and then you bring up the text and you do it piece by piece, and then you show them each Egyptian god that it goes with and what they represent and why, and then suddenly you read it and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that is what it was for. It was to basically prove that the Canaanite gods were God, which the whole book of Exodus is weird, man, because when you actually study the transition of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Canaanites, and all that shit, like none of them were ever monotheistic. Now, they believed in a hierarchy, right, where there was one that set above all, but there were still other gods. But basically, yeah, that's what it was. It was that their god was stronger than all of the gods of Egypt. Someone's been watching Aquaman too much. Atlantis used to exist. We can prove that Atlantis used to exist, but it doesn't still exist.
It is long gone.
It is long gone.
Like you might be able to find ruins of it if you're lucky.
Well, yeah, and that's why like most of us think that it was technically in the Eye of Africa, and then the mentions of it being closer to North America would have been the islands that would have existed about 13 to 28,000 years ago, and is known as the islands of Lemuria.
Yeah.
Yo, Timbo, where'd you go? Like, why'd you dip? What's up, non-crazy cat lady?
I mean,
Yo, I
Muslims
gotta
believe
admit
the
this
same
though,
God as
that
Christianity.
I have Christian and Muslim and Buddhist, etc. friends. It is extremely hilarious watching a Muslim and Christian argue.
Well, Muslims believe in the same God as Christians. One of the
Well,
key
Timbo, I
differences.
didn't kick you out. Wild didn't kick you out. My wife didn't kick you out. I know Cyber Poet didn't kick you out. So,
TikTok
does
must have
anyone
heard
want
it.
to take credit for kicking him out?
Yeah. Anyways, to continue, I was saying one of the key differences between the Muslim faith, and Christianity is the Muslims believe that Jesus isn't the Son of God, and that's one of the key differences. There's a
Yeah.
few more, of course, but all in
Well,
all,
like one
they
of my
believe in the
favorites
same
is
God.
I am still waiting for a single Muslim, especially Dawa because he keeps running like a bitch, to explain how the moon was split in half and yet it didn't cause any of the planetary problems that it would have.
I mean, I don't think a lot of them know that the original text was burned and new ones written, just so there wasn't differences.
Yep. The Marine Kingdom will return. All right, Jay-Z. Right on. Right on. See, I think you're wrong. I think that, you should repent and turn to the Oblivion Child, and her children, the Oblivion children, because the Xanthians are here. They've corrupted your government. They've corrupted your homes. They could be your sibling, your spouse, your parent, a friend. They live amongst you. Fear the Xanthian. If anyone knows what that is, that's accordance to the book that me and Angry Scientist React are writing. And last night, so for those who are in my Discord and know that I was crying for like 30 minutes straight, me and Cancer Religion were like hardcore kicking out some physics and shit. And then we went over the actual storyline and we came to a conclusion that the only way it will work, and I won't spoil it, but let's just say it broke our hearts and we literally cried on what we have to do with our characters for like 30 minutes. It killed us. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. There's a fish who has human-like teeth because hybrids have always existed. It's Jay-Z. Not to be disrespectful, but please actually go educate yourself on biology and genetics. Catholics have about 6 more books added to their Bible. Well, it depends on which Catholic Bible. I mean, it can go anywhere from 66 books all the way up to, I believe it's like 110. And then outside of Catholicism and modern common Christianity, it can go all the way up to 300.
Catholics also pray to idols.
Mm-hmm. And hey, Wild, since we've got 20 minutes, why don't you go tell everyone here what you learned about Crimen Solicitanus, my man?
Was that the link you sent?
Mm-hmm. To the Vatican?
I pretty well read the first point and was like, hey, no, this is fucked up, and quit reading it.
You didn't even get past the first part.
No, I was like, hey, no, this is fucked up. I'm done. I quit.
So to basically break it down really short and simple, it's
It allows
basically
Catholics,
go for it.
And the Pope to basically get away with a lot of things. One of it's
Murder,
pedophilia,
trafficking, anything. So long as they repent to someone else in the clergy, anyone who was a victim or witness that reports it to the authorities are excommunicated and at one point were killed. Yeah. That's why when it comes to Catholics, I take none of them seriously whatsoever. I will not even give a Catholic the time of day. Period. If you're a Catholic, nope. Don't even waste my time. Christians, I'm a little bit more malleable with, because most Christians that I've met, sad to say, haven't really studied their book. So if they're willing to listen and learn, cool. Catholics, nope, zero.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, I don't even consider myself a part of a denomination.
A Heron for how much help in the BNC team and how supportive all those cats have been in me like learning. And then I have just a silly horn toad. I think that we got to get rid of Lundberg's picture in the Boulder list of, like, let's do the stapler or something. Like
Yeah.
Lundberg seems like a major horn toad.
Lone Wolf,
So-
he's live most days.
I want to cover. Someone asked a very good question, and it's Hang on, let me pull it up. Josh Scarcella. He asked, "Is Lucifer an angel?" So, do you want to cover that one, Wild, or do you want me to?
I mean, if you go into the text, I can't remember the exact verse. I think it's in
Isaiah chapter 14. Yep.
Basically refers to Lucifer as a Babylonian king, Halil ben Shahar.
Yep.
And
And
depending on the
originally,
translation of the Bible will determine if the name Lucifer is actually used, or in other translations it will say morning star.
yep. Which again, in Revelations 22:16, Jesus is known as the morning star. So either you're saying Jesus is Lucifer or you're not. But no, Lucifer was not an angel. If anything, at best, he was a Greek, either god or titan. I got to recheck this up to be definitive, but it's one of the two, and he was the bringer of light and knowledge, and he was in reference to the planet Venus. Now, when you talk about Satan in, like, say, Job, it's a reference to an angel, Samael. Yes. But I mean, the word Shayatin or Hashatan, or Satan, is just a descriptive title meaning adversary or accuser. Was that passage in Revelation? Revelations 22:16, I believe. Go ahead and check it right now. If it doesn't say, and I send an angel unto the church to remind them or show them that I am the root, the line of David, and am the morning star. So I believe it's Revelations 22:16. Yep, no problem. Yep, I'm not, just because I'm an atheist doesn't mean I'm here to deconvert anyone or anything else. The Christian and the witch up here and everybody else here will all tell you, I'm not here to deconvert. I'm not here to change your mind. I am simply here to provide data, evidence, and it's up to you to research it, fact check it, and come to your own conclusions. Yes, I do have a Discord server.
Now read the other verse referring to Satan. Which one?
Yeah, there are numerous.
There are numerous verses.
There's one, Matthew 16, verse 23, in which Yeshua is talking to Peter, and he tells Peter to stand behind him, Satan, because he was being an adversary to the plan of the crucifixion. And no, the serpent was not Satan. Completely different person, and in most cases what we find is the serpent was most likely the angel Azazel. Especially
the great serpent, or in Hebrew, Nahas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Proto-Hebrew, Nahas.
Trouble.
Can you repeat the Matthew verse? The Matthew 12:29, 39.
What was that?
The Matthew verse.
Oh, the Matthew verse is Matthew 16:23. That's the one that he's asking for.
I gotta get back to Matthew now. I'm going way past it.
I love how they're saying wrong interpretation. It's literally because Jesus says, yeah, the time is coming, etc. And he's like, no, I won't allow it. It's not a spirit that came over him.
Which verse did you say they're talking about in Matthew?
Matthew 16:23. I'll actually pull it up. Hang on.
No, I'm like a page away.
Well, I want to do it right alongside you.
There's, never mind, 2 pages away because that's 15. There's 16.
Damn it. My system keeps restore.
You say Matthew 16:29? What?
23.
Okay, I was gonna say it goes to 28. Okay, Matthew 16:23. Good to read, or do you want me to wait for you to get to it?
I mean, you can go ahead and start.
Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get away from me, Satan. You are a dangerous trap to me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's."
Yeah, not a spirit. Nowhere does it say spirit. It says from a human point of view. So we'll read 20 through 23. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go on to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chiefs of priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense unto me, for thou sufferest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Nowhere does it say anything about a spirit overtaking Peter. Try again.
By the way, Papa, we always use different translations when we read from the Bible if more than one of us read.
I love how he just said the KJV, and I literally just read from the KJV, so damn.
Also, the KJV is not the only acceptable version that is read. A lot of churches
it's
prefer
actually
you
one of
not.
the worst.
A lot of churches rather you not use KJV.
Rather use like the NIV or the NST.
NLT.
Or the EST. Yep. The New Living Translation. Yep.
Which is the one I have. I have the NLT Study Bible. I also have an NIV. Somewhere.
Notice how, like, and it's funny too, because he's like, only the KJV, and then I read it from the KJV, and he still tries to argue, and it's like the whole thing with Lucifer, the word Satan, Genesis, the application of Adam, the application of Samael, like all these things that I go through, both Old and New Testament. I will literally walk them through it. I will have them read it themselves, and they will still go, no, you don't have the spirit to discern. Yeah, you weren't even driven by the spirit enough to read the damn thing, and you're trying to tell me I don't have the spirit? Like, what the fuck? Be gone, false prophet. John
I'm gonna address
AV.
that in the comments. King Henry II, I am a Christian. I do believe in God. So before you say why we're reading the Bible, if you don't believe in him or believe in it, check your facts.
Yeah. Wait, Christians like him actually, looking up facts? Wait, what? Blasphemy. Blasphemy, Wild.
Like, I like how even in the comments, people are defending me. He's like, yeah, no, Wild's a Christian.
Firstly, you say a delayed text. What do you mean a delayed text? And it's always the ones with, like, no following or content. Why? So, yeah, we got 10 minutes. And then I think he's going to send a co-host invite. And then we'll start that off. So we've got 10 minutes. So was there anything specific that you wanted to cover while we're up here, Canadian?
Not really. All I'll say is check out the Duel Live when it comes out.
King Henry, what do you mean by we pick and choose? That's a Christian thing for cherry picking. I actually go through the entire chapters. Notice when we went over Psalms, I had him read the entire fucking chapter for its context. And then I gave the historical, the psychology, and even the wartime context. So
also most times when we read, it's from people asking in the comments.
Yep.
So typically we'll be reading the comments. We'll ask, hey, can you read this verse? Can you read this chapter? And we're like, yeah, we'll go over that.
Yo, your God is the devil is in the house. What's up? Shout out. Everybody give her a follow.
Whoop, whoop. Reading the Bible is supposed to be risky. You say that like you're being sarcastic. Yeah, man, like you misinterpret it even in your own religion. you misinterpret it in some way.
There's a lot
And
of
it's super risky.
misinterpretations, a lot of mistranslations.
Yep. Hey,
It's like
Misty.
super.
Hey, hang on one second. Misty, Lane 3. I would love to have you up, but in less than 10 minutes, I'm going to be doing a debate with Workers for Christ. So if you would still like to come up, if you're willing to wait until after the debate, which I don't think it's going to last more than like 30, 35 minutes, covering Psalms 137:9 is extremely easy.
And I can step down too.
Yeah.
if you
Well,
need
I
me
mean,
to.
everybody's going to step down once the debate starts. But if you still want to come up, I'd be happy to bring you up after the debate. Why am I doing what? Educating people on what faith they decide to follow? I mean, if a Norse pagan came up and was like, yo, let's talk about the Eddas, I'd be like, all right, sweet, let's do it. If, someone wanted to bring up the Dhammapada or the Puna Massage or the Bhagavad Gita, we'd go over it. If someone wanted to bring up, like, the Tibetan lore or, like, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, I'd bring it up. It's just that it's the Christians that the second I put up this photo and put on a song from Celine Dion, suddenly y'all are so fucking butthurt that it's, you're going to burn in hell, Jesus loves you, Satan is the devil, blah, 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 blah. And, and then try to play victim and go, oh, but why can't you just let us believe what we want to believe? Why the fuck are you even here then?
Also,
Hi.
I'm going to address something. Someone in the comments, Durmishi, Satan is a deceiver. You're thinking devil, which is deceiver or destroyer or defiler.
What's up, bud?
I was just saying because they don't want you to post things like that, so they had all the power.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, bud. It's they don't want outside information so that way they can retain their power, especially with the tool of Stockholm Syndrome. Huh, bud? Yep.
Okay, Cal W, he does talk about it. If people are civil, he has good conversation. If people come in just instantly attacking him and just showing hate and bashing him, he defends himself.
Yeah, let's take John from yesterday when he was talking all his shit.
And
all I did was address him for his shit.
He mentioned
That's
you
it.
Kate and started talking about you and Kate. I'm sending this to him, and if he chooses to come in, he chooses to come in, but at least he knows he's being talked about.
Yep. And mind you, every Christian and every other person that came up when I was up there had nothing bad to say about me. That 90% of the time, I'm extremely kind. I'm accepting. I'm loving. I'm caring. It's when I have to deal with assholes that I don't put up with y'all's shit. Huge difference. Satan is a title. The beast is in reference to Rome and Nero. The number 666 is literally in reference to Nero. I did a video on it. Why don't you go look at my videos and you'll see it literally spells it out in Hebrew and in Greek.
And Pablo, I just want to say, like, you do realize that, like, it's mostly church fan fiction that represents him as Satan, the dragon, beast, and Lucifer. All those. It's not the Bible itself. There might be a couple of very light references to that stuff.
Yeah,
but
and
like,
again, Satan is used as a title, devil is used as a title, Messiah is a title that means anointed one, a god is a title, and then you
God
have the
is
name
a title.
of the god.
God is a
Yes.
title.
Yeah, like Zeus. Good job, my bud.
Zeus, Hades, Poseidon.
Yo, come here, say that out loud, bud. Let's show the nine-year-old. How many gods do you know about? Give us their names, bud.
I'll bring up a few from Greek, which is Zeus, Hades, Poseidon.
Which are the three brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who else?
There's Kronos, the Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What's his name? There's Aphrodite.
Aphrodite,
Athena.
yeah. Athena, yeah.
There's Medusa from mythology.
But is she a god?
Not technically.
Not technically. Do you remember what she's called? Starts with a G.
I can't remember, but she is part of like one of these three sister-like things.
She's a Gorgon.
That's what it's called.
Yep. So now let's look at Norse paganism, right? The Norse gods. Who are the Norse gods?
There's four.
Yep.
If I'm not,
Who's the Allfather?
Odin.
Who was another Allfather? Do you remember?
No, but
Starts with a T.
I can't remember.
You're still learning the Norse ones, aren't you?
Yeah, but Loki, technically he's not fully a god, but they consider him a god, the god of trickster, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he's a trickster god, right? But how did he become part of the gods?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, we got to learn about that later, don't we? It was a blood oath between him and Odin. Yeah, good job. I'm proud of you.
Oath between him and Odin.
Yep. So already, I just demonstrated that my 9-year-old has a better understanding than most Christians do.
I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit.
Those are Greek gods, not actual God.
God.
So hey, Tristan, is Yahweh the Christian God?
No.
No. What is it?
I know he's not the god.
Originally, he was a what god?
Carpenter god?
Kind of. Metallurgy. Yep, and it was from the land of Canaan. I love how everyone's saying that I only love myself. Shame, shame.
You show you love me every day.
I do show you love every day, don't I?
Yeah, every chance you get, even if that means you don't get this my top, you still show it to me.
Yep. And do I ever stop you from believing in a faith?
Nope.
Nope. What do I ask you to do, though, if you're going to believe in it?
Research it.
Research it. That's right. All right, yeah, we've got 2 minutes, Adam, so I'll let you on for just a second. Mr. Impatient.
Yeah, gosh, Adam, so impatient.
I just want to say, hey, Spaz, have fun with Joe.
What's up? Oh, I'm covering 137.9 is going to be a breeze. Like, I literally do this while stoned off my ass and high all the time.
Have fun with Joe, because he needs to come down a peg or two.
Yeah, no
he
joke.
Needs to really humble himself.
Especially with his bullshit of the old, oh, you're just ducking and dodging, when he ducked and dodged me for 3 weeks straight. And mind you, this isn't going to be one of those casual conversations that I used to give him. He wanted a debate, so I'm going to fact check him all the way through.
Oh, also, Spaz, if he starts becoming uncivil, just remind him that when I was talking to him in like direct messages, he says, "Oh, he'll have no issue being civil." Just
I have no even if he does spout off, it's not gonna bother me, because then I'll just remind him of Matthew 25:33 through 44. Like
no, like remind him of his own word where he said, "Oh no, he will remain civil because he has no issue being civil."
Yeah, I mean, I've never been anything but civil with him either.
Nope, that is true. You have always been civil
So
with
it's only I think it's mostly me that he's starting to become a little mouthy.
Well, if you remember right, when I was extremely civil with him, Adam, like when we first started, if you remember right, I told him, I was like, let's have that debate. And he was like, no, man, you're rude. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, yo, dude, I wasn't calling you names. I just offered a debate. You said no. Then I offered a Bible study, and you still said no. So
yeah, I think it's only with me he's starting to get a little mouthy, and I think it's not going to be good for him if he continues that.
All right, well, Workers is live, so I'm sending him the invite now.
All right.
Alrighty.
So I gotta disconnect you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, humble him.
Boom. There we go. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
You ready to get this going? Right? Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So did you want to go first on your opening statement?
If you wanted to go first, I just wanted to go over like the context behind it. So if you wanted to go first, and then I can.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll cover my end of the context of it too. So, yeah. Psalms 137:9, right? When you first start out in the entire chapter of Psalms 137, it's a place in which they're sitting by the rivers of Babylon. They are current captives of Babylon. They are basically praying out with a prayer of vengeance or song, because I mean, Psalms is a song. They feel corrupted when they're being asked to sing a song for the Lord, but feel that it's not right. And they are wishing vengeance upon their captors for what they had done to their sacred city. So, anything you'd want to change on that?
No, I agree. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so then let's bring up the next part, right? Do you believe that it is a reflection of the morality of their God?
You can go ahead. I just wanted to hear your side of the thing,
Okay, so
and then we'll
for
get into the
example,
open
right,
discussion.
I see that it is a clear representation of the morality of who they think their God is. When you go to other verses, such as, for example, Psalms 135, and you could click just verse 8 if you would like, or the entire thing, they talk about the vengeance of God upon the land of Kemet, in which they set one of the curses, or the angel of death, Samael, to smite the firstborn. Now, firstborn wasn't just children, it was the firstborn. So it could be an adult, it could be a child, it could be their cattle, etc. But it was still a smiting of directly the firstborn. In Hosea 13:16, again, it's for the curse over the Sumerians. And let me look up the other one. It's Isaiah 13:16 and Hosea 10:14. They do the same thing. We see the same categorizations in Deuteronomy and 1 Samuel 15, etc. So when we see Psalms 137:9, though it is the people that is making this prayer of vengeance, it is completely, in my view, in line with who they think the morality of their God is.
Okay. I would disagree on a couple of reasons. Or I'm sorry, are you done?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So, the reasons I would disagree is because when you look at other ancient civilizations of this time and just in general, and keeping in context what was going on during this time period, the phrase killing the firstborn, the Maranatha Stele says, for example, Israel's seed is destroyed. I mean, there's all kinds of examples throughout our archaeological record of people over exaggerating what's really going on.
I agree.
So we're not literally talking about, happy is one who dashes the little ones on the rock.
Now, how is it not? That's what they are saying.
Right. I just it's hyperbole. I mean, you look at other civilizations of this time. The Maranatha Stele says Israel's seed is destroyed.
Okay, but when we look at actual history,
hyperbole.
Uh-huh.
They speak in hyperbole very frequently. They use
very
terms
frequently,
like
right?
bashing the little ones on the rocks. Virtually nobody thinks that they're actually talking about bashing babies on rocks.
But when you actually do the history of their ancient warfare, many societies did purposely kill the children. Some of them would take the children and use them as sacrifices to their gods.
That doesn't change. That doesn't change that they still said this as a hyperbolic phrase. This was a very common thing.
Oh, yeah, it was a very common thing during the time. There's no disagreement there. But that still doesn't mean that just because they're speaking hyperbole, that they're not speaking in reference to what they believe their God would command of or do.
But no, that's literally what hyperbole means.
Yeah, it's literally like, for example, like a parable. It's allegorical. But still, regardless, when we take the societal context, we take the psychological context, and we actually take the historical context, especially during captives of warfare, these were actual things that were actually done onto the people, and they did it in the name of their God.
No, that's not true.
How not?
Virtually no scholar thinks that even the accounts of genocide in Numbers 31, Joshua 8, virtually every single scholar thinks that these are hyperbole. They didn't literally kill all of the little ones. It's hyperbole. This is something that
they don't believe that the specific stories actually happened. They don't believe the actual stories happened.
They said that they don't believe this is referring to a literal genocide.
Correct. They're not referring to a literal genocide that actually happened in that context, but it was a very common thing to actually happen.
Yeah, but okay, we're not talking about what actually happened then. We're talking about what this theological in the Bible says.
Right. Which again, if you're a writer, right?
Indicate that this is hyperbole.
Right.
It's Francis Watson talking about this.
Again, it's hyperbole, but regardless of its hyperbole, regardless of it, they are still referencing what the people perceived as the morality of their God.
So Okay, but that doesn't establish the actual morality of their God.
How not?
You perceive God as a very immoral God. I perceive him as a very moral God.
Okay, so where does the God ever tell them and rebuke them for these prayers?
Well, when Jesus comes along, he makes it very clear that loving your enemy, loving your neighbor, even if in his case, he was being arrested, Peter cut off the guard's ear. He rebuked Peter.
Which is why he called him a
So
Satan.
it's very, right. No, I don't think that. I think he called him Satan when he was trying to convince him not to go. But that's
Yeah, no, that was
whatever.
beforehand. I'm just saying it was that type of action that caused it.
Right,
That's why he said it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even there was a point, I forget exactly where, when they asked Jesus if they wanted him to call down fire. I think it's in Mark. And Jesus said, no, that's not what we're
Right,
here to do.
right. Which means
Peter
you
wrote in
admit that
his
there's a
letters
clear
to not repay
distinction.
evil with evil.
So you
No,
would admit
he's
that
not
there's a
here.
clear distinction between the actions of the God of the Old Testament and the actions in the New Testament.
That's a separate conversation, which we can have if you like, but we're talking right now about Psalm
Yeah,
138.
which is part of which testament?
The Old Testament.
Mm-hmm. Right. So throughout the Old Testament, this same type of character is portrayed over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is
So
before the
regardless if they're
covenant.
hyperbolic tales, right? Do you believe that the flood actually happened, like a global flood?
I believe there was global flooding, but that's irrelevant to. We're talking about Psalm 137.
Again, because
So
you're
the
saying
flood is
hyperbole,
irrelevant.
right? Numerous, like for example, 1 Samuel 15:3 was hyperbole, because we find out the Amalekites still existed afterwards.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
So they were hyperbolic stories because that's how they viewed their God. And never once did their God during the Old Testament say, no, that's not who I am.
That's not his job to clarify who he is. He makes it very apparent when he sends his son to die for them. And even the disciples who were in close proximity to Jesus, who we believe to be God, they thought he was way different than he was too. They said, who is this man, when he did the storm? They really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so again, let me
So
ite
it's very
again.
possible for
So
them
in
to
the
have a
Old Testament,
misinterpretation of their God's morality.
so if you're going to say, Joe, that it's not his job to do it, but then say, but he did do it in the New Testament, why didn't he do it at all through the Old Testament?
He did. He sent his son to die.
New Testament. I said Old Testament.
Okay, but we're not. But this is just within the Bible. The New Testament, Old Testament is divisions that man made. The Bible is put together by councils and people. This doesn't change the actual story of what God did. He made it very clear when he sent his son to die for our sins. He fulfilled the old law. He made many adaptations and amendments in Matthew 5. It's very clear that God is not an immoral God. And if it was an immoral God, furthermore, it would be logically incoherent, because a supreme being cannot be immoral.
Well, I mean, a supreme being, if we look at the
The
attributes.
only possible way that God is immoral is if God doesn't exist. If God is real, then he can't be immoral.
Okay, so let's look at the attributes of the supremacy of this God, right? The attributes are, it's all-knowing, right?
That was just a side thing I'm pointing out. Let's focus on, what is your specific issue with Psalm 137 verse 9? Happy is he who takes and dashes the little ones against the rock.
It's the mentality, it's the psychology, it's who they believed their God's morality was. It's what they believed the God was.
They can't be mistaken?
Then why not correct them?
That doesn't matter. You're mistaken, he hasn't corrected you, or maybe I'm mistaken. One of us is mistaken, and nobody's been corrected.
And never once has he stepped in to correct it.
Yeah, so it's not his job to step in and correct
It's not his job. So he believes it's his job to reach in and do other shit, but when it comes to clarifying what his law actually is, what he actually commands, that's not his job.
What does this have to do with what he actually commands? We're talking about, happy is he who takes and dashes the little ones against the rock.
Right. So why didn't he, for example, in the Ten Commandments, right, command them, hey, during warfare, do not dash children's heads. Do not proceed with this kind of mindset.
Do not murder, you mean?
But then commands in many other books to murder and kill.
But that's we're still talking about Psalm 137.
Yeah.
God's commandment said, "Do not murder."
Mm-hmm.
If He commands them to kill, that's a totally separate thing. That's not
How?
murder because you've been commanded to do it.
Oh, so if you're
Murder is
commanded, it's
unjustified
not
killing.
murder. So if my
Well,
wife
do you
commanded me to
consider
go kill someone and I kill someone, is it still murder?
that's irrelevant to Psalm 139 or 137 verse 9?
How so?
Because we're not talking about anybody being commanded to do anything. This is a psalm about what they would like to do or what they would like
It's
to
a
be
request
done
of
to their
vengeance
captives.
because they've already, like I said in Psalms 135, have already seen
That's a
him
separate psalm.
kill.
That's a separate psalm.
Again, so
You're bringing up all these
if we're
other
looking
psalms.
at
This is irrelevant.
specifically only 137:9, right? And we're not adding
Yes.
any other context outside of it. So zero context, no New Testament, no Old Testament, no nothing, right? It's still a problem that these people think that it's okay to ask their God to put such a vengeance on someone that they dash their little ones upon the stones. You don't see
Well,
an
that
issue
would
with
be
that?
hyperbole. It would be the equivalent
No,
today
no,
of
you
me
don't get to
saying,
say
well,
hyperbole anymore because if we're only
no,
quoting
it
this,
does.
it's a
It does.
prayer,
Yes.
right?
No,
And
means
it's not
It
hyperbole
doesn't change that
because
it's hyperbole.
how is it hyperbole
It's a
when it's just a
psalm.
prayer?
Because it's a psalm. It's a psalm with
It's
a
a
curse
prayer.
on the end of it.
Yeah, it's a
No, the whole
prayer.
thing is not a prayer. There's 3 parts to it. Verses 1 through 4 is the setting.
Yep, it's a
Verses
setting.
5 and 6 is the self-exhortation, which is
Mhm.
remembering Jerusalem.
Yep.
And verses 7, 8, and 9 is the curse. The whole thing is not a prayer.
Yeah, it's a curse. It's a prayer for a curse of
No, I just said the
vengeance.
whole thing is not a prayer.
Well, I didn't say the
It's
whole
a
thing. I
psalm.
said the section of 137:9 is the prayer.
It's a curse. It's specifically regarded as scholars as a curse.
Yes, a prayer for a curse, for vengeance upon thine enemies.
Okay.
So how is that hyperbole? Hyperbole would be saying, hey, this happened. This is saying, we wish this upon.
Okay, so a prayer is a request. So they're requesting God to do this. If I request you to crack open the window, do I literally mean for you to crack the window open? Or do I mean for you to open the window a little bit?
Okay, so
You can use hyperbole while requesting things.
That's allegorical.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter. It's the same as like the difference between a parable and a descriptive, fantastic story with no applications of meaning. So a parable has a hidden meaning to it. A story is just a story. It's complete fiction. When we're looking at allegory and hyperbole, again, there would be the application. With the prayer section of this, for the vengeance upon thy enemies, again, it's not a, hey, it did happen. It's we're requesting to happen, which means it shows their psychology on who they believe their God is.
Okay, but how do you know? First, okay, right now, you and I are both having a discussion about who we believe this God
this ain't a discussion.
You
this is
have
a debate.
Wait a second. Whatever you want to call it, debate, discussion, whatever. You think one thing about God. I think a completely different thing. One of us is mistaken. So the very fact that we have a disagreement about this shows that people can be mistaken about what God is or what his intentions are.
Yeah, that's why you have to put in
what
all
you're
the extra
saying doesn't make
research.
sense.
So, for example, right? Let's read it in Hebrew, right? Asherah si yohez wenip piz it ulalayik el hash shalah. Okay, when you say shalah with that little line underneath, right? It is a assertive action, right? It's the tonage of it. If you were to just say hashaya el Allah, it would just be a descriptive. But in this one, it is using as a physical action. So they physically want this to happen. It shows the psychology of who they think their God is. So either their God is that way or he's not. And up until the supposed New Testament, never once does he correct it.
Okay, so I have a paper here from Francis Watson talking about this exact psalm. And he compares the way that these captives feel to the way that Jews might have felt after the Holocaust. And he says that it even could be understood that Jews may have wanted the people who were doing, the Holocaust, that were doing the extermination camps and whatnot, to experience what they had to go through. But then he says, in its context within the Christian scripture, however, this could not be the case. So we're talking about the difference between the Tanakh and the Bible. And he says that in its context within the Christian scripture, this could not be the case. Even if Christian victims of oppression were experiencing very bad oppression, they could never legitimately appropriate this psalm in its full
Okay, so
context.
one, appeal to an authority.
Scholars are saying.
Again, appeal to an authority and one scholar, but let's point out what he said, right?
That's a consensus.
Hang on. That's one, right? And again, appeal to authority, but I'll grant it to you. Pay attention to what he said. There's a difference of application between the Tanakh, the original text, and the Bible.
Yeah, because
okay, so if there's a difference, right? And Psalms is part of the Old Testament, correct? It's the Torah, the original text.
No, it's not part of the Torah. It's part of the writings. The Torah is just the law.
No, it's more than that. The Torah contains all the others.
No, it doesn't. That's the Tanakh.
I've literally read it.
But that's irrelevant. Get to what you're saying.
That's fine. What I'm saying, though. So when the Christian Bible came up, right? They added the New Testament. They switched their interpretation from what the original people who wrote these Psalms actually thought.
No.
You just quoted it from the other one who just said the same thing.
Yeah, because there's a difference between a book without the added context. It's like if you take the last couple chapters out of any book, it would have a potentially different meaning. It's added context.
So you're saying the New Testament is the added context.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, right? How do you know that?
What do you mean?
How do you know that it is the accurate?
Psalm 137.
Yep, and you brought up an appeal of authority who talked about the difference between the Tanakh and the Christian Bible.
Okay, yeah.
Which also showed that there's a different interpretation between the people who wrote the Psalms and then the people who rewrote their interpretation.
No, these are the same people. These are the same people. All the early Christians were Jews.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
No, they weren't.
Were Jews.
A lot of them were Ethiopians. A lot of them were Romans, etc.
Okay, what is the specific issue with Psalm 137, verse 9?
I already told you.
Immoral.
I already told you.
Because they think. Okay, well, that's wrong.
How's it wrong?
Because right now, this conversation that we're having, this debate, disproves the fact that somebody thinking what God is equivalent to what God actually is.
Okay, so then you read the rest of the historical context, which is the rest of the Old Testament, and in the rest of the Old Testament, the same character is displayed over and over again.
And you read the New Testament and you see the reasons why this character is displayed within it. There's plenty of added context that explains this, but that's not really, again, what we're talking about. The specific issue you're raising is that Psalm 137, verse 9 is immoral because they thought that their God was going to bash the little ones on the rocks.
Not just that, but they requested it because they believed it.
Very important. This is very important. What they thought about their God is completely irrelevant to what their God actually is. Maybe not irrelevant, but it's definitely not equivalent.
And yet he never changed his character up until the supposed New Testament added context. So here's the question, right? With this New Testament added context, why isn't Thomas and Judas added?
That's irrelevant.
That's not irrelevant.
We're talking about Psalm 137, verse 9.
You brought up that the added context of its understanding came into the New Testament, right?
Right. We're talking
okay, so if you're going to say that, stop ducking and dodging and then answer why Judas and Thomas wasn't added to that.
That's not what we're talking about. Psalm 137.
Then, if that's all we're covering, then stop bringing up the New Testament as added context. You either get to use it or you don't. Which is it?
Thomas is not part of the New Testament.
It used to be.
I can use the new. I don't care what it's not now. We're talking about.
According to which book?
You're bringing up all this stuff. I don't look, dude. You're talking about all this stuff that doesn't have to. We're talking about Psalm 137 verse.
Then let's
9.
stick to just Psalms 137:9. The behavior
Okay.
of taking a little one and smashing it heads against the rocks. Would you say that's immoral?
Yes.
Okay, then. So there you go. You just answered the question. It's immoral. And if they
No,
think
it's
their
not.
God
Totally.
is,
No,
then
no,
their
we're not gonna.
descriptive of their God in
No.
this instant would be immoral.
So the way that they think their God is, as we're proving by this conversation, is not equivalent to what their God actually is, and you can't prove that it is. So even, you know what? Even if we throw out the entire Bible and only have Psalm 137 verse 9 as the only scripture that we have,
Yep.
your claim still falls short because you cannot prove.
Okay,
that
so
what
would
they
you
thought
follow?
God
So if
was
that's your
and what
only
God actually
description,
was. One second.
go for it.
You can't prove that what you thought God was and what God actually was is the same thing.
Well, then let me ask you this, okay, workers. If Psalms 137:9 was the only scripture that existed, would you follow that description of the God?
That's not a description of the God. It's a curse of what they want to do.
Because of who they think their God is.
You're choosing to look at only the English 21st century.
I just read it to you in Hebrew.
Calm down. I'm talking about the ancient
calm down.
Hebrew, like you mentioned. Yet you just yelled. We're talking about the Hebrew. We're talking about the cultural context. This was a very common thing that they used to do. They would say things like this very commonly.
Okay, so let's take your statement of if we threw out the entire Bible, right? And it was the only scripture, the only one, and that's what you had to base the character of their God off of. Would you worship it?
Yeah, if the only thing I had to base God's character off of was bashing children against rocks, no.
Okay, so there you go. By this conversation, you admit that based off of that verse alone.
That's not the only thing that we have to go by. So
okay, then why did you say we're only looking at Psalms 137:9? So context seems to only matter to you, Joe, when you can utilize it in a specific way.
No, you can utilize whatever context you want. But
well, I've already called you out on the appeal to authority and then showed you where even the appeal to the authority showed the difference. I've already shown you the difference between the Old Testament and New Testament. I showed you the continuous regularity of the Old Testament. And then every time I do that, you immediately go, oh, well, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about Psalms 137:9. Then I get you all the way. Hang on. Don't interrupt me. Then I get you to just the Psalms 137:9. And then you admit that if that was your only descriptor, you would still find it immoral.
Yeah, because if that was the only, if the only thing I had on God was bashing children's head against rocks, no, I would not worship him. But you're bringing up parts of or scriptures that aren't part of the Bible.
Like what?
You're bringing up things that have no, like the Gospel of Thomas. It's not part of the Bible.
It used to be, and it still is in some.
No.
So your version of the Bible, it's not.
See, this is where it gets irrelevant because we're talking about the Gospel of Thomas now. See how the conversation drags off about, oh, this should be in the Bible, shouldn't be.
Well, because you said that the New Testament is added context. So I'm saying, all right, let's add the added context.
The New Testament.
It used to be.
It doesn't matter. We don't accept it as context now.
You don't accept it.
Determined that it's not. Okay, just because. Okay, fine. If you find a Christian sect that accepts the Gospel of Thomas, okay, you can go debate them about this. But when you're debating me, I don't accept the Gospel of Thomas. So bringing it up.
So I'm only supposed to work with the very specific. So how many books do you use?
The Christian Bible.
Which one?
Books.
Okay, so not the Apocrypha. Correct?
Dude, okay,
just to make sure. Just to make sure.
If you're not going to talk about Psalm 137 verse 9, we can just cut it.
I've already covered 137:9, and you've already admitted that based off of that verse, it's immoral.
Okay, so are we finished?
Sure, I guess. I mean, I don't know how farther you have to go to prove that these people believed that was his character. He didn't correct their character, etc.
That doesn't make it his character, but that's fine. We went through what you wanted to go through, and now we're talking about something completely different.
No, I mean, you're the one that brought up the New Testament as added context.
Well, because it is. We're talking about the Bible.
But we're not. We're talking about Psalms 137:9. You brought it up, so I
Right,
hit
and
you
I
with
just
it.
and I just
And then I
explained.
also
Yeah,
hit
I
you
just
with
explained why it is.
the plead to authority, which even your plead to authority proved you wrong.
Well, it didn't, but okay.
It
It
did.
was a good conversation. It was a good conversation. Have a great night, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Take it easy.
Yep.
Are you done with the debate or something?
Yep.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it, bud.
Because I've been hearing this a lot and I don't understand what it is.
Go for it. Ask the question.
What is an Adam's apple?
Wasn't Adam's what?
Apple?
What is an Adam's apple?
Yeah.
So for males, it's that little piece right here that's in our throat. And when you get older, a lot of men, it protrudes.
That's what that is.
Yep.
I just keep hearing it.
Yeah, that's what they're referring to as an Adam's apple.
Oh.
And it's a lot of people, especially the ancient people, used to believe that the Adam's apple was a remembrance of the sin of when Adam partook of the fruit of knowledge, which isn't actually accurate. It's a biological thing, but yeah.
And also, technically, it could have been something other than an apple.
It wasn't even an apple, but we'll go over that later, bud.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions regarding what you read today?
Not really.
Alrighty. Well, go ahead. You can go play some video games for a little bit.
Well, there was a few when the words were together.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's ask.
How it said, if I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget its skill and stuff like that. I didn't.
Okay, so what that means when it says, if I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget to play the lute. What they're saying is if they were to forget what Jerusalem meant to them, it would be better that they couldn't play music at all. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Good job, buddy. I'm so proud of you. All right. What's up, everybody? What's up? Let's get the guests up and going. Adam, I had witches up for a while, so I'm going to have another one up with Adam in just a second.
Hey.
What's up?
Yeah. Joey loves context until it's used against him, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Do you like that? Was that a good enough beat down for his, arrogant ass?
Yeah, it should have been better, but, still good.
I love how he's like, you're going off the English version, and I literally read it to him in Hebrew.
Yeah, he'll never get it.
What's up? Is it Ijah Hamak? Or Ijah Mecca? Maccabee. Maccabee. My bad. I'm trying, dude. I'm trying.
Look, you guys were doing 137, Psalms 137?
Yep, Psalms 137:9.
Well, I don't understand why that's so puzzling. If we read the whole thing, we would know exactly
what it says. Yep. It's
And so
about when they're oppressed by Babylon and they're just like, yo, I'm sick of their shit, man. Smite their ass. It's not that hard to see it.
it's what happened to them. You see what I'm saying? So it's saying happy I would be.
Yeah.
But Jesus
No.
wasn't around then. Stop the crap, Joe.
Hey, how about this? Now I'm finna knock both of you out of the seat with the translation of what this is talking about. This
let's
don't have
hear it.
nothing to do with Holocaust or anything
I agree.
like that.
I agree.
Okay, I don't know who said that. I heard someone say that.
That was Workers. He was like, well, according to this authoritative historian or scholar, in the New Testament, it's not anything like the Holocaust. No, it has nothing to do with it.
Now watch this.
And that's what I told him.
Me and you about all this agreement. We're smiling and happy, but watch, when I tell you the translation, we're gonna fall apart.
Let's hear your translation on it, bud.
All right, here we go. And I'm just gonna paraphrase it because we know where we're at. 137. Yeah. So I'm just gonna jump down through it. I'm not gonna read it word for word. All right. So we'll just cover some things. I already said, by the rivers of Babylon. Here's what you gotta pay attention to. And if you allow me to break this down, I would listen to anything you have to say. All right.
Go for it.
It said, by the rivers of Babylon. It's giving you a location right there. It's telling you where we sat down, where we wept, and remember Zion. So it's talking about the early Jews being taken to Babylon. All right. So we hung our harps on the willow tree of the willows in the midst thereof. If you know about Iraq, it has the willow gardens and all that stuff. If anybody know anything like that, you see, I mean, you got to be studying to kind of know.
Yeah, it gives an actual location.
That's right. It's an actual location. All right. So it says they carried us away captives and required us. Right. It says, sing us one of our songs of Zion. We sing the songs. All right, and we can't sing in a strange land, right? And it says, then I heard your youngster talk about this verse. Forgive me, O Jerusalem. Good that they're studying the Bible. Boom. So we're not gonna cover that because you was reiterating that, so you understood all that. Here's what.
Yep.
Let's jump down. Let's jump down to 8 because here's the next clue. O daughter of Babylon. It's
Yep.
showing you a disposition of time. It
Yep.
said daughter of Babylon, and now it's saying, oh, daughter of Babylon. It's showing you a disposition of time.
Yep. Yep.
All right. All right. Says, let's see. Remember, Lord, the children of Edom. This verse is about a set of people. You see what
Yep.
I'm saying? Remember
A
the children
specific group too.
of
A specific
rise.
tribe.
He's saying, he's telling in this prayer, he's saying, remember Edom, they was rooting for these people to tear us down, is what it's saying. You see what I'm saying? But if you go
Which
to
came from
Amos,
the line of Canaan.
look, you go to Obadiah, you go to Amos, then you'll get the rest of Edom's story. Why God, and then when people are confused when it says, why I loved Jacob but hated Esau.
And Esau. Yep.
Keep reading the Bible. You got to understand what's going on in this text. All
Yo,
right.
dude, I like straight up, I have so much respect for you, bro.
Let me do the last verse, and then I want to hear what yours is. All right. So it says, now here's the important part. It says, "O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed," meaning we know in our prophecy that you're going to be destroyed. Happy will be that reward us I reward you like you did us. In other words, you slammed our children into the rocks.
Yes.
You did this to us. Happy is the reward for us that we get that recompense to you. And then that's the line. Happy would it be to take the dastard little one against the sons. It's just saying it's only righteous.
What they did unto us, let us be vengeful and do unto them. Blessed be those who do so. Exactly. And that's all I was trying to tell them. I was like, look, you can't say that this isn't what they believed was the morality of what their God taught. That, for an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's literally what they taught in the ancient scriptures.
Now here's the clinch. Here's the clincher, and I'm gonna let the guy step in. I'm gonna let you talk, Jew, down at the bottom. Hey, check this out. Here's the clincher.
And even in Old Testament, do unto them as they do unto you.
That's right.
Weird.
Right. Hey, but even in this world today, if you know about willow trees, they grow in the Middle East, and another region that they grow is the southern United States.
Yep.
All right. So look at that. Now here's what you got to look at. They required us to sing a song. Think of old Negro spirituals. They are required to sing a song out in the field. And so it's one of those Negro spirituals you guys got. And they're supposed to, and look at the verse. He's saying, how are we supposed to sing in a strange land?
In a foreign land, yeah.
Foreign land.
Yo, dude, I gotta have you in my
that,
Discord, dude,
sublime.
because I actually do a class going over that on how before a certain point we actually had global trade. We had global trade, and there were people who lived in different areas.
This is talking about Israelites all day long.
It's a specific tribe.
They went into captivity. This is a disposition of time to show you that the Bible is prophecy. It's not history, it's prophecy, meaning it's talking about things to come.
Right. And that's why I told him it wasn't hyperbole, because hyperbole is talking about a past event in a fairy tale like way, right? To portray a message like an allegory. But a prayer or prophecy is future tense, what they aim or perceive to come, which means it's not technically hyperbole.
And the beauty of it is there's nothing new under the sun. So none of this stuff that we have going on is, if you believe in God or you believe in that Torah, that none of this is new. All this has been prophesied. And it says that in Ecclesiastes 1:9, that there's nothing new under the sun, that what was in the past is already been, and what was to be is already to come, meaning it's already been scripted out. You see what I'm saying? So there's no new players. So if you look out here in the world today and you'll say, what country will be Egypt today? superpower,
Yeah. Yep.
not be able to stop this. I mean, but
I would
see,
also like to say that, like, I hate the fact that they use the word Egypt instead of Kemet.
that's right. It's a conglomerate of Babylon, Egypt, and what's another ancient power, and Rome.
So it originally started with it was originally Sumerian, Syrian, Babylon, Arcadia, and Kemet. Shortly after that, they added in the Persians, right? The Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites. And then shortly after that, about 200-300 years after they really had kind of settled their wars, then Rome came in. And one of the biggest things about Rome and the New Testament is any place that they conquered, they intook a lot of the traditions and belief systems of the area that they took in, but then added a piece of their own.
Well, they took their model from the Greeks. See, prior to the Greeks, let's say when the Persians came in, don't forget, even in the Bible, the Persians gave them all religious rights, even though they took them as prisoners. They
Yep.
didn't change their religion, didn't try to alter it. Matter of fact, put them back in the land and tried to repower them back up. But when
Yep.
they got to the Greeks, the Chitons from the line of Japhet, they did it a little
Yep.
different. They conquered them, but they put themselves as the leaders.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? But let them keep their religion, but they put or they put Edomites as the leader, like with King Herod, or
Hey, not to interrupt you, man. I gotta address this because I'm tired of seeing it. Hey, Damien Jerez. Satan, the word, is nothing more than a descriptive title. It's not a specific individual. It's used to describe multiple
can I say this?
individuals throughout the
Can
holy
I
book.
say this? Yeah, your Jesus calls Peter a Satan in the new Bible. Is Peter a Satan? If not, zip your lip, just la bouche.
And for all the ima a bouche. But also for those of you trying to talk shit about my 9-year-old, again, my 9-year-old already knows more about multiple theologies than most of y'all. So you might want to keep your trap shut before I bring the 9-year-old back to school you.
Hey,
am I right? Am I right, Maccabees?
hey, look, and I agree because if you start early, he'll be shredding them, because there's adults who don't even know what he's talking about, know what to shout.
Well, Maccabees, like, let me ask you something, right? Even though I'm an atheist, right? Is it not more beneficial that even though I'm an atheist, not only do I give him full support and right to believe whichever philosophy, theology, or lack thereof that he gets, but he has 100% access to every form of research regarding each one?
I have no qualms with it, bro. I have no qualms with it because you give him all the tools to save himself. If that's what he believes, if
Yeah.
he's under that thread of thought, even if he don't.
I don't think Maccabees is a Christian. I think he probably follows just the Torah or Tanakh only.
Are you a Torah or Tanakh?
I'm not your Christian. The Christians won't have me in no church. They won't have me.
Yeah.
Same, brother. Same. By the way, I'm going to give you a follow real quick, man, because you are just absolutely awesome. Oh, I'm already following you. Right on.
Cool. Yeah, they're going to escort me out there, bro. Ain't no Christian going to stand up. Ain't no Christian. Ain't no Muslim.
It was kind of the name Maccabees alone kind of gave it away for me.
Yeah.
Look, no Muslim going to stand up. Muslims, they cannot, man, they have banned me from every site on here, bro. They will not let me because they're trying to, I know the soft underbelly. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
they don't want to.
Yo, you know what I would love to see, bro? Because I mean, this specific Muslim has ran from me so hard. His name is Dawa. I would love to see you put him in his place because I tried to give him a chance, but then he came in lying like hell. He was like, "Well, I've watched your multiple of your lives and multiple of your videos, and now I don't think you're worth the effort to debate." Mind you, he's the one that requested the debate. And then, shortly after he said that, he's like, "Well, I've only been to one of your lives." It's like, bro, you can't even keep your fucking facts straight.
Well, that's like Aussie. That's like Aussie Muslim. Well, I debated him like 3 times, and I schooled him all 3 fucking times. Like
Aussie Muslims do not fool with me. Hey, no,
yeah,
neither
they hate me too. Most of them hate me.
ISO whatever, all of them is running the dirt. As soon as they
like,
see my name,
You'll
They
find
block.
once in a red moon, you'll find a Muslim or a Christian that's chill. Like, for example, like I highly recommend following Wild Canadian, Cyber Poet. Those are two what I call Yeshuans, not Christians or crap stains, but Yeshuans that I respect. Then you've got Eza, um, uh, Da Allah Ahmud Muhammad. He's an amazing Muslim that is really caring, open. He doesn't really give a hell. He just likes conversation. But yeah, like you said, man, most of them they're just assholes.
No, here's what it is. They're scripted
Yeah.
because look, Muhammad only come from one source, and I can't believe that they try to compete against the Bible when all their prophets come out of the Bible. I mean,
Hey,
all of them.
hey, you want to unblock? You want to unblock Lizard Queenie?
Who blocked her?
Somebody just decided. I don't know. Somebody decided to block her.
Who the fuck
She just
blocked
messaged
Lizard
me.
Queen?
Hey, if you guys want to get somebody,
Any other mod? Go ahead. Wild, can you please unblock Lizard Queen? And who the fuck blocked her? Like that's some bullshit.
hey, I like that I got my point out. If you guys want to take me off and get somebody else in here, you can do that. I just wanted to get my
No, for
point
sure.
in.
But dude, I'm so glad you came up, man. Like legit, and like you obviously know your shit. Like legit. Like notice I have nothing against on what you were saying. Like you know your shit. You studied it, dude. Like legit, you have my respect, 100%. I may not fully agree with you on your faith, but you know what? At least you're the kind of person that has actually studied your shit, and that's all I request from people. So mad respect, bro.
I appreciate that. But like I not that I want to create controversy. I mean, those Muslims are so high-minded. If they didn't try to do it with pride, I wouldn't feel the way I feel. But oh, well, you got to speak our language because but you don't understand what it's talking about. You know, I got some points with that, bro. Thank God that Bible was spread out because the Israelites were scattered through all the earth. That's why the story went everywhere. That's why it's in multiple languages and multiple things. And if you understand scrolls, when Isaiah was in southern Israel, Jeremiah was writing in Babylon. So they couldn't have been writing about the same information. These scrolls were about information that was taken to these lands that they were in, and scribes actually wrote about.
Yeah, they were never actually meant to be like a book by itself. They were supposed to be individual pieces that you were supposed to learn from. Yeah.
It was, and I think it was a purpose. I think that God scattered the Israelites throughout the nations to kind of show the nations that He's not a playing God. Because once you get this story, you're going to say, "Damn, these people believe this." Now you got to think of somebody who don't even know the story of the Hebrew God. These people believe this story and believe that they're being downtrodden because of this God. Wow, that must be an amazing God, and it causes you to get this information if you're interested in them.
Well, I mean, especially when you read, and I know you're going to know what I'm talking about, Ezekiel chapter 16.
That's right. Well, go ahead. Let's see. I mean, what were you talking about go ahead. Go summarize it real quick.
So in Ezekiel chapter 16, not only, I mean, it's basically called or titled the promiscuous wife, etc., the, whatever wife, referring to Israel. But I mean, it talks about the lineage of how they come from the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites. It talks about how when they first became a nation of tribes, that, their God first blessed them, made a covenant with them, but then because he then calls them less than whores, he says that even their sisters Sodom and Babylon and Samaria had done less crimes than they, etc. So, I mean, they truly did believe that when they did certain things, their God absolutely fucked their shit up.
That's right. And it was only for their belief. You got to understand that this Bible was a tight circle. The world didn't know what the hell they was thinking, y'all. These are just these people who had
original Hebrew, right? When you read original Hebrew, most of it is cryptic writing for a reason.
It was, and even Christ reiterates that. He said, when they asked Christ, "Hey, why do you speak in parables?" See, the New Testament is on. The New Testament is a big riddle. It's a big puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. I mean, it's not like a maze. It's like a lattice. You go the wrong way, your ass is walking for miles, forever.
And here's another thing, like when you read the original Hebrew, if you don't understand not only the allegorical symbolism that they're using, but also their numerical representation, half the time you will not even see the message that they're trying to portray.
Well, it'd be layers of messages. It'd be layers of messages because they could, in our music today, we could speak on one thing and be talking about something totally
completely different. Yep.
See what I'm saying? So writings are the same way. But that was a blessing because that's why, what people say the Bible's fake, but that Bible have devoured generations of men. So you could say that it's fake. It devoured generations of men who said it's fake, who lived and died, and that Bible's still here. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's kind of a funny thing that we're involved with this book. You could say it's fake, but they made the calendar off of it. All your laws is based off of it. Everything that people do is based off the information in that Bible. I mean, it's in your face so close that you can't even see it. Most people can't
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
even as an atheist, like I tell people all the time, when it comes to the mythology that has been created through religion, yeah, just throw it out. But don't think that there isn't actual hidden knowledge in there. There's a lot of knowledge in there if you learn how to look. You gotta basically figure out what their key was and use the key to decode what they were saying. When you read the Old Testament for its face value, it gives one story. When you read it, understanding Proto-Hebrew, understanding the original 22 or the floating 23rd consonant, you understand what the three mothers were, which were the primordial, ethereal waters, fire, and air. When you understand the 10 spheres of creation, when you understand the Sophic or Ashura frequency of Barbalos, when you actually start learning this shit, it tells a completely different story.
Oh, you gave some bits and pieces of a lot of different information right there. But I'm gonna let you go with that because not everybody's gonna be able to grasp where we're going. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But you see me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like that's how I could talk about it with you, and you're just sitting there like, oh man, I know exactly what he's talking about. But a lot of these people is just gonna fly over their heads. Yeah.
Enough information for the layman because it'll get too technical if we try to spread out. You see what I'm saying? So I'll just let you have that because it's not that far. It's parallel. True.
Well, yeah.
It's touchy.
Yeah, it is touchy if you don't know what each one actually represents and why it's important to like the Tanakh. Again, like you said, they'll go one way and then just go for thousands of miles of misinterpretation.
That's why. And look, and it's supporting you. It's telling you, hey, this is the right way. You're seeing signs saying, you're seeing signs saying you'll be there in a minute. And hey, just a few more miles. And hey, just a few more steps. And like that's just thousands of miles away from where you tried to be. But see, you know what? That's the beauty of it. And I will say this. I don't think the Bible talk about atheism too much. If you don't have no belief, I think it always dealt with people who had a belief, who said that their God was on top, idols and things like that. I'd say this for atheists, because my daughter claimed to be an atheist, but I think that's the best position you can be in because it means you're not doctrinated.
Right. Well, I mean, like, and here's another thing, right? Like, if this God truly is all knowing, he knitted you in your mother's womb, he knows you by your heart and everything else, right? If you're not believing because of a lack of representation that this God is not a God of confusion, then that means when you stand before him, according to the word, he will judge you by what you knew.
And I'm not. See, look. Okay, I'm not gonna split hairs with that, man, because everybody has to get it in, get in the game. You know what I mean? It don't matter what position you play. Touch the damn football. I'm just gonna say it like that. Get in the game and try something. Don't be in the bleachers and then run down on the field and celebrate the Super Bowl win or whatever. Yeah, I'm just saying, get in the game. That's for all of us. You know what I mean?
Workers is live talking about Psalms 137.
Why didn't he just stay then?
What's he gonna do? Take 4 hours to explain that it doesn't work for his.
That he's full of shit. That all he can do is write off of other people that even say that he's wrong. Like that was my favorite part is when he did the appeal to an authority of one historian, right? And even that historian clearly stated that there is a complete difference of application between the Old and New Testament.
That's right. Well, here
And
it
then
is,
every
though.
time I pointed out his bullshit, he's like, well, no. We're just talking about this. All right, then let's just talk about it. And then when we just talked about it, he admitted, well, yeah, it's immoral. Okay, then.
Well, everybody have learning moments, though. You know what I mean?
Joe's not one that you can teach.
Well,
I have
but
tried for the past 8 months, dude.
here it is
Yeah,
because he love his sin. He love his demon. You see what I'm saying? And we got to recognize that.
And
You
in the
know what
word sin literally isn't like a violation of the law as like they teach now. It literally just meant missing the mark.
Well, that's a Greek interpretation, and it's fair. It's true. It's missing the mark, meaning you're missing the mark. I get that
Yep.
sin, but it's a transgression of the law, which is an
Yeah.
easier definition. Also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gave rules. Just
But there's
don't
also a
do.
difference between the laws that are established for man and the spiritual law that you are to follow.
Well, here
yeah,
it is.
because
Go ahead.
we
Go
what
ahead.
was it? Me and Joe went back and forth for a week on semantics because he's like, well, in Hebrew it means raw and it could be calamity. I'm like, yeah, but calamity means evil. They're numbnuts.
Yeah.
And
Raw
here's another.
literally means evil. Like that's what raw means.
We have to consider this, and we ain't gonna say who the Jews are. Let's just leave that a blank slate. The laws was given to them. It wasn't given to the world, y'all. So we can read about all this, but they went into a contract written in
Yep. A
stone.
covenant.
They can't get
Yeah.
out of. They got smushed and crushed, and they could not. They went in a blood pact with God.
Yep.
You know, and they look
Originally, it was of the flesh of the foreskin. Was the
that
symbol
when,
of it.
when Moses sprinkled that blood on those children of Israel, it was over for them. It was over that moment. That's a blood pact, bro. Y'all
Yep.
is so done. Y'all is so cooked because His word will not go out void, and you're not gonna. And look, what he say? It ain't enough trees in Lebanon. It ain't enough animals to sacrifice for y'all to get out this contract with me. So don't
Right.
trip. Don't worry
Right.
about that. I make all the trees and I make all the sacrificial animals, and I'm telling you, with all that, y'all not getting out of this.
Yep.
Y'all can burn
That's
all
what
that.
he was literally talking about. He was talking about that this covenant between him and them was
That's right.
definitive.
That's right. Hey, and watch this one. And Muhammad himself tried to make himself, which is the descendant of Ishmael, which Ishmael was a little upset at being the oldest male.
Yeah,
You see what I'm
he was
saying?
denied his firstborn rights only because of Abraham's wife,
And you
because of
think
her
that,
jealousy.
well,
So
let's
hold on for
look
2
at,
seconds, guys. Lizard Queenie, there we go. Yeah, I can see your comments. You're back in now.
Yep, you're back.
I think
Lizard.
it's just TikTok. I think it's TikTok screwing with you.
Yeah, because I don't think it was any of us that did it.
Isaiah was
Oh,
according
and a mod can't kick another mod out, right?
What
there
was
was
that,
a
Adam?
few with
I said a
Isaiah.
mod can't kick another mod out. So
okay.
it's
Yeah,
it was TikTok.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Maccabees.
Few things going on with, it wasn't that Rebecca was well, not Rebecca, who are we at? We're at Sarah. We're at Sarah,
Yep.
right? All right. It ain't that Sarah was any of that. It was according to the promise. Don't forget now, see, here's what you got to look at. Let's look at the notes. An angel came to her and told her that she was going to have a son. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yep. And then she went against it and offered up her handmaiden to Abram.
That's right. Now she pawned her handmaiden off to Abram, which they got out of Egypt. I don't know if you ever read the book of Jasher, but they even tell you where Hagar come from. You see what I'm saying? Abram was Egypt, and they enjoyed his presence so much. Let me put it that way. That the Pharaoh.
Well, I mean, he was a wise man from Samaria. He was an astrologer. He was extremely intelligent.
Oh my God, the story of Abraham. You know what? I would say this. A lot of the things that you find in the law, Abram did them first. And then they got kind of recorded as part of the law to the children of Israel. If you go back and do some reading, I'm not going to try to explain that to anybody. Just in your search, you'll hear a lot of those laws. All that stuff was going on in Abraham, and it seemed like it got brought together and codified and made into a law at the children of Israel. So you can see there's a little distance in between there. And that's why See, Muslims think that the real story, the real religion started at Abraham, and that's why they feel like that they're included. But
Yep.
the
Well,
promise
and when you add it too, like it's all talks about, like you see it in the same with Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy 23, 1 through 2, about the whole bastardization shall not enter the congregation of the Lord, on to the 10th generation. That was also in reference to the issue with Ishmael and Isaac, because Ishmael, being the son of a, handmaiden, was considered a bastard son. So even though he was the firstborn, he was still considered a bastard.
people don't realize. See, the Israelites, they name the father, they name the tribes according to the father.
Hmm.
If you was a Jewish mother who had a non-Israelite father, your child was called a bastard among the people. It just meant you
Hmm.
didn't have a like father. That didn't mean you couldn't be there. Didn't mean you couldn't be among the people, but you couldn't go up. You couldn't go up in the congregation. See, those
Right.
were all those rules there. But see, here's something too that even Ishmael.
Oh,
Here's
wait. To this day, I still don't respect little bastards, though.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know what? See, good that you brought that point up, because Ishmael and Esau. See, God told the children of Israel, hey, just take wives among your nation. But both of them, Ishmael and Esau, they took wives among every nation. Like they said, bug that. I'm gonna make myself the greatest nation I can. Especially Esau. Esau
Yeah.
went and put seed, and he went and bred with all.
He
He took
put seed everywhere. He was like the Genghis Khan of his area.
right. He was like, don't touch the Canaanite. He went and grabbed two Canaanite wives immediately. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Yeah, just
Which
stick
is
with your
funny
tribe.
too, because they say don't touch the Canaanites, right? But a good majority of the tribes came from Canaan.
Now, wait. You got to back up, bro. That's an interesting observation, and I just can't really. Let's examine that. You do know that Cain or Canaan, he come out of Ham. The children of Israel come out of Shem. So I don't see where you're making a connection
Okay,
between.
so are we talking about Cain as in the son of Eve, or are we talking about a later Cain?
Oh, see, you're thinking of Cain. You're talking about Cain in the beginning. All right, but then there's a flood in between there, bro.
Well, yeah, but then even like for example, let's look at Ezekiel chapter here. I'll bring it up real quick. Ezekiel chapter 16.
In the
All right.
meantime, Kermit comes into. By the meantime, Kermit comes into Ham.
Yes, whose bacon is this?
Wait. I was looking over here. What'd you say?
I said, in the
We made.
meantime, Kermit
Go
comes
ahead.
into Ham. Oh, he got
We were making
disconnected.
a joke. Oh, okay. Hang on. Hopefully he'll come back up.
He
We'll
probably just
go.
did it for. Probably just made it. It was probably just an accident. Probably touched his phone the wrong way.
Yeah, if you hop back up here, but I'll cover it real quick. In Ezekiel chapter 16, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, confront Jerusalem with her detestable practices, and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says to Jerusalem. Your ancestry and birth were in the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. On the day you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with the water to make you clean, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in clothes. No one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you. Rather, you were thrown out into the open field, for on the day you were born, you were despised. Which is in referencing to when Abram went through Canaan and Egypt, etc., and all this happened. So were you able to catch that, Maccabees?
Oh, I'm back. Oh, I was reading while you was reading. You know what I mean? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I dropped off, and then I
Yeah.
was just look at that. But
Sweet.
snappers. All right. Well, it's tell. I mean, I don't believe that it's saying what you're saying.
Now, what I will say is this is somewhat open for interpretation, right? So this could also be in referring to not specifically Abram, but like you said, Esau and them, where they took these wives from Canaan, right?
Well, what said by then, what this is going into, is don't forget when he told him to go into this area of Canaan, of Canaan. Let's deal with Canaan first, because you got to understand why was he cursed to understand why the Israelites were told not to go into that land. You got to kind of get the whole just of why they were told not to, because don't forget, now these are Hamites in a in an area of Shem, in an area where the rest of the people, the population, are Shemites. All right, so when Ham, now this is a good point. I mean, I get to run this by you, and you tell me what you think.
Go for it.
When Ham seen Moses naked, or discovered his nakedness, what do you think that meant?
Well,
Because
okay, so that's up for interpretation too. So what I've heard is one that like they partook of it, right? They sexually partook of it, but others could just mean that it was exposed and he experienced a form of lust.
Okay, well here's where I guess I could just look this up, but I'm just gonna go ahead and paraphrase it. All right, it said discover his father's nakedness, but when you go into Leviticus, it says do not discover thy father's wife, because thy father's wife is thy father's nakedness.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this because the Bible's not saying it, but Canaan was a product of incest.
Could be. Could be.
Ham did the deed. Canaan was cursed. Now, if you go look at Ham had 10 children. They never mentioned Canaan's mother, but they mentioned all the rest of his children.
Yep.
Why would Moses curse his son? I mean, Ham's son. If Ham did the deed, why would he punish his son? Because he was born unrighteously.
Yeah.
That he was something happened nefarious in that.
That's definitely an interpretation that I definitely lean towards.
Nefarious in that situation. That's why he cursed him. Now, so these people moved up in Canaan, and immediately you see that Moses, nobody cared for him. I mean, not even God. Hey, go kill all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Go kill all of them. I mean, you can see that there's something going on about these people where they ain't, up to that point in the story, they ain't did nothing. You ain't even heard of them.
Yeah, well, because before that, they were slaves under Egypt or Kemet. They were forced to work in the mining fields. That's where the specific name Yahweh comes from. He was originally a Canaanite god that was a metallurgy god turned storm god turned war god. And he turned storm god because they were exposed to the Sumerian and the Babylonian lore of Enlil. And then they attributed Enlil to Yahweh. And then he became the war god, right?
Well, El is the father of all gods.
Yep, El or El Elyon, yes.
Children, along with Baal. Baal is Yah's brother. People need to study. And quit
Which
running
is why
around.
in the Quran, Iblis is in reference to Yahweh trying to overtake the throne of Baal.
That's right. So people wouldn't be running around here. Well, we're Yahweh, praise Yah, and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
when I hear a Christian go, "Oh yeah, we praise Yahweh," shamara hamara, shamara ira, rabata, rabata rikamori, rabata shamara hamara hakuna mamepo. It's like, do you even know what the fuck you're talking about? Oh, by the way, if you're gonna speak in tongues, unless you have an interpreter, you're to keep your mouth silent.
Hey, look, you look like ancient Israelites who already failed doing that, and then you're gonna take that model. I mean, it's just
Ezekiel chapter 16 literally talks about it. Like, so if we go down just a little bit farther, right?
Hold on. As I want to address this, where are you getting the info that Yah is El?
Yah is El. Yah is El. El is the Lord of hosts.
Well, hold on.
And then all the angels, Samael, Michael, Raphael.
They're the Elohim. They're of the house of El. And the top El in Canaanite or in Moabite was El Elyon, but in the ancient Hebrew, he had 72 consonant representations, and they believed that his name was so holy that no human was clean enough to say it. So they referred to him as either Lord, as in Lord of Hosts, or Hashem, which was given the title and anointment over the primary deity, because the rest of them all lived on earth. They were portrayed on earth except for the Most High. And the Most High gave Lord of Hosts dominion over Israel, gave dominion over certain things. His name literally translated to he who can create.
Well, the reason why they stayed because once they went into those lands of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and all them, he told them to destroy everything, and they
Mm-hmm.
did. So the Bible tells you that he left those Canaanite gods there as a stumbling block for the children of Israel. You see
Yep.
what I'm saying? So there you go. Welcome to El. Welcome to
Yep.
Baal. Welcome to all these guys because you didn't do it the way he told you. He told you to go knock them temples down and destroy everything.
Burn everything to the ground, kill every man, woman, child, oxen, beast. All of the do not take anything for
Everything.
sacrifice.
That's right. And what did they do? Oh man, I'm
They
gonna
did it
keep this.
anyways.
I'm gonna keep this Rolex, bro. Oh, I like this ring. I'm gonna keep this
And
ring.
I'm gonna give half of it to our leaders, right? And the rest of it, I'm gonna purify it in fire.
Yeah.
Numbers 31. Yep.
Hey, but I'm not sure which book it is, but some men had some merchandise. They said, "Oh, Lord, he's upset with us," and they were hiding something in a tent. And my man came through sword right through him,
And
bro.
beat the ass to death, man. Moses wasn't playing, man. He walked up in that shit. He's like, fuck you, fuck all y'all.
We ain't playing with this. And he starts thrusting that sword through him. Bro, we
Yeah.
told you not to take nothing.
Which was, coincidentally enough, that's where the word Hashem was applied, because Hashem was a act of purity, cleansing, purification. So you didn't take slaves from the outside, people that you destroyed. You didn't take their food. You didn't take their cattle. You kept your inner sanctum clean, which was also in reference to the body. Like you didn't eat unclean things. You didn't partake of it. You didn't bring it in. You practiced Hashem. And, oh man, it's so annoying hearing Christians not know what the fuck they're talking about.
It's another. Here it is, but here's their problem. Roman destroyed the Jews and then made a religion out of their history.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So they're done.
It's why
they're done.
I laugh at them. They're like, yeah, but Jesus, it's the word of Jesus. It's like, really, you can't tell me who the actual authors are of these gospels. You can't decide which gospels you actually want to keep in. And then to top it off, we don't have a single text written by Jesus. Emotional damage.
That's fair enough. But here's where you should. Here's where you could put a hook into that. You know, the Jews were always waiting for a Messiah.
They still are.
Save them from this situation. Well, today, I don't know what they need to be saved from today. They're kind of like they have made their own power band. You see what I'm saying? They're not up under that.
They're waiting for the this is why I laugh when they're like, Jesus fulfilled the prophecy. No, he didn't, because the number one prophecy that you're supposed to go by is that he's supposed to restore the kingdom of David, restore David, and it is to rule forever.
That's right. The first part. Why don't people get that? That's exactly the truth. See, here it is.
Wait. This is gonna be funny. That the kingdom of, David was supposed to continue the kingdom, and it's supposed to be passed on by generation to generation as the kingdom. Well, if Jesus takes the title of that, he's not passing it on.
Yeah,
so
he can't be the son of God either, because then he would have to go by the lineage of Joseph, not Mary. So either Joseph was the father or he was not. And according to the test results,
Joseph was the father. Here's why Christianity hate that Joseph was the father. It's because, first of all, you'll be able to trace Christ's bloodline if you do the father. That's the first reason. The second reason is because they had to install their universal. They needed a universal socket to install their beliefs.
Well, again, that's the first point you can see the Roman influence, because Roman emperors or kings were all listed as children of gods, right? So they made Jesus a son of God. So they absorbed the Hebrew text, added their own shit to it, and then used it for control.
Hey, Romulus, what was the twins who created Rome? Romulus and
It was the two wolves. I forgot what their names are. They were known as the two wolves, or the children, or raised by wolves, depending on
Remus or something.
Romulus and Remus, something like that. Yeah.
Their mother was Venus, and their father was a god. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, their father was a Pan. It was a shape-shifting Pan. It took the form of a wolf.
I know their mother was Venus. You know what I mean? So there's the same reoccurring ideology of
Yep.
of that. So
That's
no,
why
man,
I
this
tell people all the time. You want to understand Old Testament? Read things like the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh. Read things like Babylonian lore. Read things
Christian,
like the
Christian,
Moabite key alongside of the Sephers, like the Yetzirah,
what hate?
Bahar, Hamalak, Raziel, etc. But for New Testament, just focus on Greek mythology and then add Hebrew influence to it, and there you go.
Yeah, but here's what you got to look at too with the New Testament. You can see in the book of Matthew, they go into a genealogy. They're picking up where I'm trying to tell you exactly who we're talking about.
Yep.
See, they had to talk in code. They had to talk a lot of code in that New Testament. You see what I'm saying? They had to because they had Romans and Greeks and all these other people over their shoulders. You see what I'm saying? So they had to write in a code. I could tell you one in Revelations. Christ said he hates the Nicolaitans.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one in Revelations 22:16. He calls himself the morning star. And yet Christians say, but Lucifer's the devil. Well, Lucifer means light bringer, morning star, bringer of knowledge, etc. So if you think
And
Lucifer
even
is the bad guy, then you think your own Messiah is the bad guy.
Right.
and
But
even
see,
Lucifer himself was installed into the Bible and isn't
After the Latin
exactly that.
Vulgate.
It's supposed to be the king of Babylon, Halil ben Shahar, not
Yep.
fucking Lucifer.
Well,
It only
so
shows up in the
I
Latin
do need to
Vulgate
correct that
and a
just a little bit, Adam, because when we say that, a lot of people miss the point that it's not that Lucifer itself means Halil ben Shahar, but what they were calling Halil ben Shahar was the light bringer, the bringer of knowledge, because the erection of the Tower of Babel wasn't a building to be like literally onto the heavens. It was supposed to be a point in which all nations could come together and learn. It was a place of knowledge. They could learn one language under one banner, and that's why the Elohim saw it as a problem, because there was nothing they couldn't do. Once they were all working together and practicing the same language, practicing the same arts, everything else, they became an issue.
it shows you that this man is the embodiment of God. He had to separate. I mean,
Because
y'all,
ye are like gods. Ye are gods.
if we all came together, we not saying that we were creation, but our thoughts. If we was all on one accord, we would be.
It would
This
be
would be a God.
unstoppable.
It would be a God planet, but not in the creation sense, but in the creative sense. You see what I'm saying? There wouldn't be nothing that could stop man.
Yeah, we'd be able to harness the power of our solar system. Like if we actually came under one language within 10 years or within one generation, we'd be able to fully become a type 1 civilization. That's all it would take.
We'd have to adopt some type of ant theology. We'd have to something different about how we're constructed together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd have to create some new way of how we think. But we would just be deadly because every individual mind is a bounty of wealth. I mean, it's every one of us. It's just whether you know it or not. Some things you know, but that don't mean it's not inside your head. It don't mean your head can't conclude that. You see what I'm saying? Just because you don't know it, don't mean that you can't come to that conclusion.
Correct.
Just that, hey man, but I'm looking. I got 3% on my phone. I'm gonna have to go and get this phone plugged up before it turns off on me.
Yeah, well, blessings, man, and give me a follow back. Take it easy. Yo, that was an amazing conversation, Adam.
Yeah. One person asked, what if we could create our own language? Makuna Maple.
We do.
Every word is just Makuna Maple. And then this way,
Maple.
Christians can read whatever text they want into it. Makuna Maple.
Hakuna Mamepo. Shabala Hamala. Shabala Ida Rabatata. Rabatata Rikamori Shabala Hamala Hakuna Mamepo.
Why quote a book that you don't believe in?
Because we're sick and tired of people bringing that book and slapping us in the face with it. And so we learned it to show them that, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But hey, Adam, do you mind if I drop you so I can bring up Wild and Lizard Queen?
Sure.
All right. Thanks, man.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi there. What's up, everybody?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened, but like my phone died, so I had to go switch over to my computer so I can finish, watching you literally roast Joe's ass, where he ran away because he had
Speaking
Yeah,
of
are we
no.
which,
done? Yeah, are we done? Okay, bye.
he went live by himself talking about Psalms 137.
He's so turned on about context. He had to bring it up like 20 times. I'm like, dude,
And every
you
time he
are.
brought up context, I smoked him with it.
Queenie, like I said in the comments, context gets people going.
They get chubbies, man. They get chubbies.
So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think was like some of the definitive points that like absolutely destroyed his entire argument?
The fact he didn't have any point.
The fact that he couldn't even answer. He kept bringing up like that's all he did was bring up context, and then he's like he's answering the question. Why
would
is
go
he
to-
deflecting?
He would go to other parts of the book, but when you tried, he said, "Oh no, this is what we're focusing on."
Yeah,
Which Bible? The Gospel Bible. But which Bible?
right. Which context? Which version? Why aren't we using this then? Oh, we can't. We're just talking about this. Okay, then let's bounce back. We're just doing this. And I love my favorite part though was when I was like, all right, since you want to say just this text alone, right? Would you consider it moral and would you follow that God? And he blatantly, well, no. Okay, there we go. We just answered your fucking question.
I mean,
A
he almost
God
said,
that
"Well, no." After he
dashes
said,
babies
"Well,"
against rocks have moral?
Right.
That's moral? Bashing babies' heads from like cutting open a woman's stomach and bashing the babies, that's moral.
like, I
Dude,
personally can't
stop
agree with that verse.
fucking spamming the chat or I will block your ass. The wildest Christian, I'm pagan, Spaz is atheist. Get lost, get bent, and go touch grass.
Who's spamming the chat?
Just ask Danny. I'm literally like that's
Cool.
all it is.
By
It's
the
just
power
complete
vested in
spam
me,
of
he's muted.
one.
Damn.
I've been up since 2 in the morning. I had to go to a chiropractor today. I've had literally a hand shoved in my mouth. I realized apparently my butt crack is like 12 centimeters where it should be.
What?
Yeah, I have x-rays done on my back, and apparently my whole body's just one big circle.
Adam, I muted him, and I said that by the power vested in me, he is now muted. Thank you very much.
He is now in timeout.
You
So, like, one of the
shall
funniest
not-
parts, though, for me was when, like, I yelled at him because he was like, "Well, you're just going off the English interpretation," and like, I yelled, I was like, "I just read the fucking Hebrew to you." Like, it's like, dude, you wanted a debate, not a conversation. You didn't want a discussion, remember? You wanted a fucking debate, and I'm gonna smack you with it. How are you gonna say I'm going off of English when I just read it to you in Hebrew, and then didn't just read it to you in Hebrew, but showed you what the letters specifically meant in their pronunciation? And like, did you see his face? He's like, calm down.
I saw
What do you mean,
his eyes
calm down?
twitch. I saw his eyes twitch. I'm just like, oh, the little boy can't bar. I'm like, I don't know if you saw my comment. I was like, Joe, honey, you lost. Just give up. You lost.
I now see why he refused to have a host, so that way everyone could see every comment. I now see why.
I tried to convince him to have a host, but he's like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, you know what? All right.
Didn't you go on to his live and nobody was on his side the entire time?
He had like 2 people on his side out of 9 of his viewers.
Well, I was sitting over here with like 80 or 90. And everybody was just telling Joe, just give it up. Just give it up, Joe. Like,
Michael Benedict, how did he lose? And by the way, like,
yes, please explain. Let me guess, you just came from his live where he's trying to re-go over it after getting his ass handed to him?
Oh, apparently I got told that I am stealing the Celtic cultural because I'm studying it.
What?
And apparently I have, because I told somebody to knock it off their shit because they were, being little, fuck stains. They said, "Oh, you have no personality, so you're just stealing Celtic culture." I'm like, I'm learning.
You can't steal Celtic culture. Sorry,
I'm
it's an open
learning
practice.
about it and I'm studying it. I'm not doing any rituals or practices. So how is that related to stealing? I'm not doing anything but studying the history of it.
There's another
Right.
Christian that wants to come up who has questions.
Yep.
I want to be up here with him.
Lizard Queen, do you mind if I drop you for a little bit?
Yeah, if I fall asleep, I'll still have your live on.
Okay, I love you. Thanks for coming up.
I love you too, hubbies.
Take care, Queenie.
Yep. We'll go ahead and bring Hex up. Evening, can you hear us all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We
but
can't really see you, but that's fine. We can hear you. So what's up?
Awesome.
What questions do you have?
Well, my first question is, which form of Satan are you talking about?
The descriptive title.
In the descriptive title.
I'm an adversary and accuser.
The reason I ask is because I have friends who are Satanists, and I also have friends who are Luciferians.
I'm neither.
My Satanist friends believe that, the whole inside of you, the worship of yourself kind of thing.
Yep.
And I was just trying to figure out what version,
Okay, so I'm not a Satanist. Oh, shoot. We lost him. So go ahead and send the request again, and we'll get you back up, and then we'll bring up Brotherhood. But if you can still hear me, I'm not a Satanist. I'm thinking about becoming one just for the hell of it. But I take the title of Satan, not a Satanist, meaning I'm an adversary and accuser of the Abrahamic faiths. And if I have to repeat that, that's fine. Can you hear me all right?
I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard you. Okay. And just to let you know, yes, I am a Christian, but I'm actually a Gnostic Christian, which is a huge difference. Huge difference.
It is.
I believe in the texts that are older than all the Bibles that most other Christians, that most other Christians follow. Stuff that was written by people who were there.
Right. So you also take in consideration like the Sefer Yetzeraz, Bahar, Hamalak, Raziel. You also take in portions of the Kabbalah. That would mean you would also take like the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh. You'd probably also pull from things like the Dhammapada, some things from Buddhism, Kautai, Sheiks, etc. So you're very open based. So you would be what I would call a Yeshuan. You follow the teachings of Yeshua as far more than just being of a Christian faith. Would that be fair to say?
Slightly, yes. But I've studied theology the majority of my life.
Right on.
At one time, I was a Druid.
Ooh,
I followed
nice.
the Druid teachings to a T. But then, when I started learning more and more about things, I started realizing that a lot of the religions are all the same.
Yeah, a lot of them are. They're
single
connected in a way. Yeah.
Is almost exactly the same story, just different names and different practices. And it's when I started reading the Dead Sea Scrolls and some of the older texts that the Catholic Church has completely denied and has called heresy.
They hide in the Vatican.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were hiding it and the fact that they called it heresy, well, that immediately grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
So I immediately looked into them, and Jesus was not the guy that
they describe him to be.
The common Bible today tries to make him out to be.
Nope, he was a traveling magi.
Yeah, like the Bible that was written by the people who killed him.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of sus, right?
Right. It makes perfect sense. But and the book of Judas actually is very
Oh, I
interesting. Have
love
you
that
read
book.
that yet?
Yeah, I
I'm
love
yet
that
to
book.
read
Oh, it's
that one. I
fantastic.
still need to read that one.
Now, I will
The
let you know,
you
Wild,
know,
that the Book of Judas, we only have sections. So when you read
correct.
it, there's going to be parts where you're like, okay, why did it just jump from here to here?
Right,
So
exactly.
other
That's
texts are
because it was
needed to
stored in
read in
a.
between.
Oh yeah, it was stored for 16 years in a safety deposit box and it deteriorated.
Yeah.
I also
But
am yet to read the Book of Enoch.
but in
Yo, if you want, we can
the
go over
part
it in Discord later tonight if you'd like.
Okay.
the part in the book of Judas that really turned my thinking was where he goes in and he sees his disciples, giving piety and everything, and he laughs at them and tells them, you're doing this for your God. You're doing this to, you're doing this for yourself. You're not doing this for any other reason except for your God to be
Yeah.
praised.
Yep.
And that really put a lot into perspective. So I started actually going into a lot of other books, like the Book of Thomas.
Yes.
That's another place where I pull from. And when they start talking about Sockless and the fact that Jesus was not of Sockless, which is
Correct.
actually the god that all the Judeo-Christians actually worship.
Yes.
And Sockless was a dick.
Yeah, he was.
I mean
He accepted blood
to me,
sacrifice of both animals and humans,
oh yeah,
or even
and
children. He's the one, like when you
to,
read the Old Testament, he's the one they're referring to, who, for
oh
example,
yeah,
they're praying to in Psalms 137:9. He's
and
the one they're praying to.
at that point it made perfect, because I always wondered, why does everything change so suddenly from Old Testament to New Testament? Well, that's why.
Yep.
Because Jesus was not of Sockless, and
Correct.
so his teachings and what he put out there to the world was completely different.
Yeah, Yeshua
Completely
was
the
a
opposite.
hermetic magi. He spent years in Egypt. He spent years in Tibet. He even visited India and Asia for a while. Like, he didn't return back to Israel until he was 30 because, according to Jewish law, he wasn't allowed to teach until he reached 30.
Yeah, and that's why he jumps from 12 to 30 in the in the Bible.
Yep. And the rest of his time was just described as the wilderness.
Oh yeah, the wilderness, or what I like to call the big excuse.
Yep. Yep.
Well, guys, I'm getting into a bad area. I'm about to lose signal, so y'all have a good night.
Yeah, you
Right.
too, man. I'm going to
Take
give
care,
you a
man.
follow, man, because I like
up here.
hearing other minds that actually have done the research. So
You came up
hit
here
me
real
up, man.
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and I followed you too.
Thank you.
Take it easy, man.
You too.
Hold up.
All right, we'll
Ray
bring up.
74. You cringe atheists want eternal damnation. There's only one atheist up here.
How you doing, Brotherhood?
Oh snap! What's happening, brother?
It's
Not too much.
going good, man. What you want to cover?
Nice.
You still with us?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear me? All right. I was just gonna ask you, what does Satan mean to
Well,
you?
Satan is just a descriptive title. It means adversary or accuser.
Nice. So is this based upon the Greek version of the word, or
Hebrew.
Well, I mean, Greek, Hebrew, it does, Arabic, Urdu. It doesn't really matter.
Hebrew translates to
So,
the
for
same.
example, in original Hebrew, it was Shayatin or Hashatan. Hashatan is more descriptive to specifically an individual with said title, most likely in most references to Samael, who was also given the title Angel of Death. But in other cases, if it's just Shayatin, it's much more used to a mortal application. So when you use
Like here.
Hashatan, it's more spiritual. When it's Shayatin, it's more mortal.
gotcha? And what's your opinion on, or I shouldn't say opinion. What knowledge have you gathered on fallen angels? What is your
Okay, so I have my degrees in metaphysics and divinity. So I've studied
Okay.
well over 1,000 different theologies in total. I am extremely proficient in about 30 to 40 of them.
Damn.
So are you referring to, for example, the Book of Enoch? Are referring to the Quran, in which, for example, the jinn are a direct line of Iblis? Or are we talking, like, for example, the demons, which are the spirits of the Nephilim, who later begatted the Nephilim that you see later on in the Old Testament? So it really depends on what you're talking about, the fallen, right? Because they're the fallen that are considered the ones who were Elohim but decided to go against Yah, the Lord of Hosts, being Michael, or it is the other pantheistic gods outside of the Elohim. So it really depends on which variant or theology you're coming from and how it is applied.
I would say the one based upon the Book of Enoch.
Okay. So, yeah, that would be specifically the demoted neutral party, which were the Watchers. And then they placed a curse upon themselves to take mortal form in order to sleep with the women that they desired, because originally their job was to be the ones that went from heaven to earth to bring praises from the creatures in creation. But instead of bringing praises to God, they decided to bring praise upon themselves and their own lineage. So according to Enoch, that's why the flood happened, was to wipe out the remaining Nephilim, because the Nephilim were already cursed to have a limited lifespan of 500 years. But because their parents, one side of it were angels, quote unquote, they had a primordial eternal spirit, which is why they craved flesh and were known as demons, because they would possess flesh because they craved it.
The flood also would have more likely just regional to the Eastern culture.
Yep.
Instead of the entire
And
world.
then when you go into the Quran, the jinn, the DJINN, is different than jinn, JINN. The DJINN is in reference to the specific children of Iblis. But if you were to correlate Iblis to the Bible or the Old Testament, it would have been Azazel specifically. So his specific line. Because remember, the angels were believed to be the element of fire, one of the three mothers, right, of primordial creation. And so their children were known as smokeless fire. That's why they could shapeshift. That's why they had many of the same attributes as many of the other Nephilim, but they weren't primarily. So what it would be is, for example, you would have the Nephilim, and then you would have the Nephilim, but then you would also have the jinn. The jinn would have been the spirits, right, that were the spirits of the Nephilim that were from the direct line of Azazel, who mated with the Nephilim, right, and then their children became jinn. And they were of the direct line of Iblis or Azazel.
Gotcha. And sorry, I'm just sort of like skimming.
Don't
around.
apologize, man. Go for it.
Don't worry about it.
But today I was recently looking into the tetrahedron.
Okay.
And it all started from just this one word. I had looked at Yahweh, and then when I looked at Yahweh, it brought me to the tetrahedron. I was like, okay, wait a minute.
And the Tetranonomicon, so you'll be reading both of them.
Tetrahedrons are interesting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Very.
That's where, for example, I'm pretty sure here, let me take off the...
Like, one I have to know about, not a faith one. I have to know a lot about the fire tetrahedron due to my occupation.
That look familiar?
Very.
That's Metatron's cube.
Oh, wow. I thought that was the seed of life, but,
It is. It is. Let me break it down for you, okay? So the center, right here, is the seed, right? And you have the 6 cardinal corners, 3 of which is the Trinitarian force, are the fire, right? The waters, and the air, right? Which is known as the soul of life. Through this combination creates your DNA, genetics, everything else. This is how they thought about it. And its expansion, as you can see, the 6 are then exemplified again to 6 more spheres, right? And then it's expanded again to 6 more spheres. But in constant rotation, no matter where you go, Each one is represented to a platonic solid of the third dimensional sequence. The ones below it, if you look on the inside, are representations of different the same exact geometric frequency, which for us would be between 6.89 and 8.86. So the center for life is 7.83 in frequency, which is the same frequency that the Earth operates on. So it's a geometrical for both masculine and feminine applications in geometry, but it also has a frequency application for the platonic solids.
Gotcha. So
yes, I do play Xbox. Sorry, I was responding to a comment. Go for it.
Oh, okay. I was to say, so do you think these symbols, the sacred geometry, is it sort of like a piece of coding for like building something?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. It literally represents the geometric representation of our third dimensional array.
Gotcha.
Like you can even see it in quantum physics, thermodynamics, quantum biology, you name it, we can place it there.
Damn. Okay. I'm trying to think of some more questions. Wow.
No.
Just
he's a really intelligent dude.
Yeah, he is.
And here's another thing, Brotherhood. Don't take a single word I've told you as fact. Do the research. Take what I say and fact check it, man.
I never do. I've gained that understanding now. I pretty much don't know nothing.
Yeah, the more you learn, the more you realize how dumb you are.
Yeah.
Legit.
That's how I've sort of come to the conclusion a little early. So
what you need, bud? Hang on 1 minute.
I was gonna ask if I could just watch something since I have to play the Switch. Because I'm just taking a nap in my room. And since you're busy in here, I can't do anything on your Xbox and so.
I mean, you can play the PlayStation. You can play.
I'm not allowed to.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're grounded because of the controller. Okay. Yeah, you can watch something. You can play the Switch. Getting bored? Yeah, go ahead and watch something.
I just wanted to know.
Okay. And tomorrow, you and me have a meet for the TBG clan. So, the bearded gamers, right? Because you get a chance to challenge somebody to up your rank.
Oh yeah. And so far, Michael's still 1 rank ahead of me.
Yep. So far, your younger brother's ahead of you. You're going to take him down?
I'm going to take him down.
Okay.
I will take Uncle Danny's
We'll
place if I
see.
have to.
You talking all this smack, bro. You better put it into action.
Take Uncle Danny's place.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm not ready to take your place quite yet, but Uncle Danny's, I think I'm...
The only one who's been able to challenge me on Call of Duty so far is Chico.
That might be the only person I might never get.
Yep, me and him are head-to-head on that one. So, all right. Go have some fun, bro. All right, I'm back.
All right. So,
that was my 9-year-old.
Gotcha. Nice. So do you have any information on like human archetypes?
Yeah, so what I would suggest, dude, like, because there is so much information, give me a follow back, DM me to remind me, and then I will give you every single book, link, article, dissertation you could possibly want. I'll give you a link to my Discord. We have a room called Spiritual Theological Education and the Tower of Babel, in which anything you want to learn via physics, quantum physics, thermodynamics, theology, history, ancient history, philosophy, you name it, we give it to you, give you access to it completely free.
Wow. Nice. Okay, yeah, I definitely followed you back, so I'm definitely going to hit you up. I'm looking for a DM. Thank you so much for bringing me onto your live.
For reals, man. Thank you for coming, man. I love it when people come to challenge their understanding. Like, I have to tell so many people all the time, I'm not here to deconvert nobody. I really don't give a fuck what faith you follow, so long as you're not using it to be a douchebag. I just want you to learn about it.
Yes, that's really what I'm on now. I'm trying to break the pattern of ignorance to where I feel as though I know everything. And so I'm just sort of taking a moment, stepping back and trying to figure out knowledge based upon others' perspective.
So
You know
what
what I
I
mean?
would suggest is meditation in which your main focus is to address self-ego. If you can address self-ego and turn it into a tool and not a possessive state, it will help you dramatically. But I'm also going to give you a recommendation real quick that'll really help you out with this. Get the book Designing the Mind, The Principles of Psychostructure.
Say that again.
Designing the Mind, The Principles of Psychostructure. It literally teaches you how to turn your brain into a quantum computer. Not a joke.
Oh, damn. I need to get that book.
It's why I pick up information so quickly despite my physical disabilities and the damage that I took to my head.
Oh, damn. What happened?
I took a 25-pound dumbbell to the back of the head.
Ooh. Yikes.
Yeah.
And you're sharp as a tack, so I mean it didn't do much.
Oh, I'm stoned off my ass right now too. Like I've had 4 joints in the past like hour and a half.
You sound just like my dad.
Well, if I don't, like, no offense, like, but like you'll see it. Did you get to see the debate between me and workers?
I didn't. I wish I did though.
Yeah, I can't deal with most Christians unless I'm stoned off my ass, or else I get very livid very quickly at their ignorance and stupidity.
Oh
Most,
yeah.
not all, most.
I agree. Most of them they don't have the awareness to see other things dealing or pertaining to the Bible. They think that their way is the
The
actual
only
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm back.
But yeah, man, take it easy, Brotherhood. Hit me up. I'll get you that information, dude. And I would love to have you live again, dude. So anything
Nice.
you want to cover, if it's like, say it's Christian theology or the Quran, or say, for example, the Dhammapada, Punamasads, or the Bhagavad Gita, I have all of that. Like, let me show you something real quick. Okay. This is just my physical copies. Hang on, let me get to boom, flip camera. All right, so as you can see, this is just my physical copies, and then I also have 3 external hard drives that are 4 terabytes, and they're filled.
Oh my gosh.
And that's not including like the dissertations by like Stephen Jarvis on temporal mechanics and Stephen Hawking's and a whole bunch of other shit that I literally post on my Discord every day.
Oh yeah. I need to join that Discord.
So yeah, just
Randall Robbins wants you
send me
to
a reminder and I'll
say
get you there.
Randall
Definitely.
Robbins wants you to say the
Thanks
name
again.
of the book again that you recommended.
Yeah, that's Designing the Mind. Here, actually, let me grab it real quick and I'll show you guys exactly what it is. So that way when you look it up, you'll be able to know exactly what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's called Designing the Mind, The Principles of Psychostructure. I'll send a Discord link to people in private if you DM me. I do not just give it out because we've had issues of supremacists and extremist groups coming in and trying to start crap. And so to protect our members, I make sure that everybody is safe. So,
Sorry, my phone decided to give up on me for a moment.
No, it's all good.
Despite having it plugged in.
It's all good. And as for skeptical, I mean, the debate went fucking hilariously.
Wait, I got this covered. Context. I can use the New Testament to go against your Psalms, but you can't use Gilgamesh. Enoch.
Other New Testaments. You can't use New Testament against my New Testament. You can't use Old Testament against Old Testament. You can't use this. I'm going to use special pleading to authority, but then when the special pleading authority proves me wrong, we're going to negate it. That's how that went.
Yeah, it was
Basically.
kind of. And then
Oh, and don't forget my favorite part. But you're just using the English translation literally 10 seconds after I read it in Hebrew.
And then when you finally broke it down to, well, let's just cover what this verse means, and then he said, yeah, that makes a God look like a monster.
Yeah, but we could be wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. We've already established that.
Alpha, you haven't decided which one I am yet. I'm gonna refrain from language because I don't want to get banned.
So, and
Alpha?
just in case they try to
Settle,
say I
settle,
didn't,
settle down
it's
there, white Jesus.
Ezra si yohes w'ne'ipes et ulalayik el hashala. That's the verse in Hebrew.
The No BS podcast, like KNO.
OBS.
No.
Yep, it's KNOW, capital B dot S dot podcast for YouTube.
All right, I'll take it, Alpha. Apparently, I'm Thomas.
And
now.
for sure, I'll I'm Judas. But yeah, I will be uploading at least the debate onto YouTube probably tomorrow.
I'll be Melchizedek. Oh, yeah.
Melchizedek. Right on.
Yeah. I pray to a higher God. Sorry.
Yeah, a stoned god for sure. But like, no, seriously, Adam, like, wild, like, seriously, like, watching that debate, like, how bad was it on his end?
Horrible.
He did terrible.
It was like you're stealing candy from a toddler.
Kinda.
But then
YouTube
again,
is KNOW, capital B dot capital S dot podcast.
But the way that I've seen Joe work with everything he's been saying in the last little bit, I didn't expect much out of him.
I guess Savage Atheist would like a is it your link or my link to YouTube? Could you clarify?
Your
and
link.
then my link? Yeah. Could you put it in the comment section?
Okay, well, I might be going crazy. I just heard someone whisper my name in my ear, and I am currently alone.
Justin.
It was the other ear.
Oh.
And it was like a feminine voice.
Oh, Justin, yeah. We're the Council of Justins.
Right? There's no spaces, just no capital B dot S podcast.
Yeah, Alpha. Just hit me up in Discord later on, either today or tomorrow, and then we'll get that room open for you. The hertz would be 7.83 hertz is the primary one, which is why 432, 528 hertz in binary beats is so beneficial to calmness.
No. Hertz is what Joe is feeling right now after you biblically slapping him around. He's got the big hertz.
He does. Like, he ran so hard. He's like, are we done? Are we done? Yeah. I mean, I've had to repeat myself numerous times. You've tried to add shit, and then when I address it, you go, well, no. And so then we go back and forth and back and forth and essentially agreed with everything that I said outside of, well, it might not be who the God is. So you can't give me definitively who God is.
I still find it entertaining how after the debate was done, he went live to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
To talk about Psalms.
Because he only had so many people listening in on his end, and the rest of the people were all just fucking putting him in his fucking place. Like, it was hilarious.
I went in to check out what he was saying. He had like 3 more viewers.
Yeah, I went in after you said that, and I think he had like 10 people.
Apparently, he had a total of 14.
Okay, so max went up to 14. Okay. And he had like 2 mods, and only the 2 mods that I saw were with him. Other viewers were like, "Okay, you lost."
Oh, did they really? They all told him he lost?
They didn't say he lost. They just questioned him a lot.
Yeah. Oh, they were from my life. Nice. Another successful destruction. Now, here's the thing, though. Like, he's gonna whine about it for the next couple days. Oh, thanks for the gifts. But you know he's going to whine about it for the next couple days. But I just want to make it clear that if it wasn't for him requesting the debate, up until this point, I had offered him just Bible studies and discussion. And the only reason why he asked for the debate was because he attacked another atheist, telling them that they were just ducking and dodging. And then I called him out on his BS hypocritical shit because he ducked and dodged me for 3 weeks straight, calling me names, attacking my character, saying I didn't know what I was talking about. And then when he finally joined to have an open discussion with me and Cancer Religion, he agreed with 100% of everything that I said.
Okay, J.L. Cooper, he says
I'll
he's
hop back in a minute. I'm getting a phone call.
Okay.
He's a pastor with a working master's degree, and he would love to chat, but he's only got 89 followers.
Who?
J.L. Cooper 261.
J.L. Cooper. All right, let me see real quick. I'm going to give you a follow real quick. And J.L. Cooper, we'll work on it. And then if you would like, if we have a couple conversations, I can, in a sense, interview you a little bit. I'll give you a link to the Discord. And if you would like, I would be happy to have you. Thank you for that, Jason. Yeah, but at the same time, Jay Cooper, I get it. So, I mean, if you still want to have those conversations, let me get to know you a little bit more. And so long as I can check out that you're, a decent human being who isn't, just going to attack people, I would love to have you on my Discord and open discussions.
Yeah, because if you're gonna be like utterly disrespectful on Discord, I'm a mod.
Adam, they're still asking for the link. Can you comment the link?
Oh, I put it in there already.
Oh, did you? Could you do it one more time for them? I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, just give me a follow, JL Cooper. DM me. I do get a lot of DMs, so it may take me a day or two to get to you. But yeah, once we get that taken care of, I'll get you up in the Discord. We'll have open chats. We have several Christians, Muslims, pagans, atheists, anti-theists, etc., and we all get along fine.
For example, I'm a Satanist, and I made 2 Christian friends through Spaz.
Yep. So, Queenie, what would you think about that debate? I didn't see it as a debate. I saw it as just an ass whooping.
I just got in here.
You missed it? The fuck, Queenie?
I had company.
You should have put me in the background then, damn it. You'd have laughed your ass off.
I think Queenie was busy in the background.
No, I wasn't. Different kind of company.
But yeah, like Adam, why don't you go ahead and give him a rough rundown of like not super rough, but give him a good generalization of how that went.
Spaz said it. Talked about all the atrocities that Old Testament God was attributed to and did. Joe's like used context. Yeah, I can use the New Testament, but you can't use an Enoch. You can't use this version of the New Testament versus my new version of the Testament. Spaz literally read the verse in Hebrew. Well, why are you reading it in English after Spaz literally read it in Hebrew? And then Spaz was like, oh, well, let's just focus on the verse then. Well, if you just read that one verse, what would you assume your God is? A God not worship? Like, I wouldn't worship him? Thank you. Are we done here?
Yeah, that's literally what he said. He's like, "Are we done here?" I'm like, "I guess." I mean, do you have anything else to bring forward? Well, no, because I even listed off. I was like, "Look, dude,
Apparently
you wanted a debate, not a conversation." Yeah. He tried to say that
justify murder.
Yeah.
Oh wait. And he brought and he tried using a power of authority. Brought in one biblical scholar that didn't even agree with him, but agreed with Spaz that there was a difference between the Old Testament God and the New Testament God, which was fucking super funny.
Yeah,
why would you give us something? Why would you give us something that further proves our point and not your point, there, my guy?
Yep. Like he got his ass handed to him. And like, to be honest, I didn't even try. You want to know like I didn't even use my normal talking points for Psalms 137:9. You know what talking points I used? I used my 9-year-old's who was sitting right next to me. And even my 9-year-old discounted a lot of the things that he said.
I had someone say they'll pray for me in a comment, and it's like, I appreciate it, but it's unsolicited.
Yeah.
Basically throwing it right back in their face.
Yep.
Like, by
And
you
I
saying
love.
Yeah, I'm
don't
gonna
pray
start
for
saying
me
it.
without my consent is disrespectful.
But
And
like
I
this is
take
how the
the
whole New Testament thing went, right? He was like, "Well,
Hold on,
the
hold
New
on.
Testament
I
shows
just
us
want to
this
say
because
this.
it's added context." And I was like, "All right, well, let's look at the character of the New Testament, etc." And he's like, "Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just Psalms 137:9. Then why are you bringing it up?" So like he would go off the rails, and then when I would
I just want
address
to
the
say,
off the rails, he would be like, "No, no, 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 no."
every time a Christian says, "I'm gonna pray for you," I'll be like, "That's $1 to the solicitation fee that you owe me."
Yep.
Sounds a bit like my cousin.
Yep, and I'll dance naked in the woods for you while sodomizing a blow up Jesus doll. While screaming, Hakuna Mamepo, Shamana Hamala, Shabana Rabadata, Rabadata Rikamoda, Shamana Hamada, Hakuna Mamepo. Hakuna Mamepo. Workers for Christ is
Joe's trying to
blasting.
blast you.
Oh, now he's trying to blast me on his live. Why is he such a coward? I mean, he's the one that wanted to leave.
Yeah, and it's and he can't refute it because we literally have it on tape,
Yeah.
like all of
I
it.
told you he'd
His
be
biblical-
butthurt. He would run away and then start talking shit. He can't actually say it to my face. Because every time he's tried,
His
I've
biblical-
literally put him in his place.
Yeah, his biblical L that he just ate. Well, he doesn't think that's not going to go on YouTube later. Like, come on.
Right. It's like, and what's even more hilarious is he only had like 7 to like 9 people, and not only 2 of them were actually supporting his shit. The rest of them was calling him out. And then we had like 80 or
Apparently,
90
he said
people
he
on our
beat
end.
you in a debate in slums.
What? So the whole thing about 137.9 was that it was basically a prayer of vengeance, specifically, right, against their captors, etc., and that in their mind that was the morality and perception of who they believe their God is and the character in which he did. And I proved it.
Yeah, later this is going to go on to YouTube, so everybody can see that.
He's currently saying that he beat me in the debate. Okay. Well, of course he is, California. Like, I mean, he could come over at any time. Yo, thanks for the crown, Nocturnal. Yo, everyone give Nocturnal a live. Like, that dude makes some badass comment. I hope I didn't misgender you on that one. But like, straight up, just fire content.
Wait,
Same with
what was it?
California Satanists. Everyone go follow California Satanists.
You know the funniest thing is what the 14 people on his side, like the 100 that were on your side of the live, and watched him take that big old L.
And he's the one
Who
that
did
tapped
you say
out.
to give a follow?
Nocturnal Rainbow. David.
I'm not seeing Nocturnal Rainbow.
Is it Nocturnal? Yeah, it's Nocturnal Rainbow. It's nocturnal.rainbow.david.
So follow them.
Yep.
He's kind of cute.
Yo, so how about this? Hey, Cyber Poet, all the Christians in this live right now, show of hands if you think I won the debate. Put a downward thumb if you think I lost it. For all, and do the same. So everybody in this live right now, thumbs up for me, thumbs down for workers for that debate.
I'll do this Roman style. When he admits that the whole verse doesn't look good for his own God, it's a self-defeating attribute right there.
He admitted himself that the verse is immoral.
Savage Atheist. Kid quotes WLC. It's a thumbs down.
That's it. Cyber is muted for 5 minutes.
Oh, I know he's butthurt. I mean, he's welcome to come back. I mean, I ain't afraid of his shit. I'll whoop his ass throughout the entire text if he wants. He can bring up any point he wants, and I'll wipe the floor with him. I mean, we had an open discussion where he kept doing that. Well, will you concede to this? No, because that's not what it is. Well, okay, well, what about this?
Tell me
No.
you don't read your own book without telling me you don't read your own book.
All right, I'll give you the Hebrew real quick, okay? Asra, si has winni ipis it alalayik el hashalal, which means blessed the ones who takes and dashes your little ones against the rock.
Blessed be. Makuna Maple.
Yep. Shamala hamala.
Oh, you should
For
play.
I stand forth to challenge the wisdom of the world, to interrogate the laws of man and of God.
You know what our ending song should be?
What?
Sublime. Rivers of Babylon.
Which literally comes from Psalms.
It is. The song is loosely based on that proverb.
Yep.
on that psalm. So
Yep.
funny. And people are like, "Why do you keep playing that?" I was like, "Cause it's my favorite song. Cause it's you guys don't realize it."
Oh, that's just hilarious. Go ahead and,
Workers is uploading the debate too. What's he gonna do? Lose on his own page?
Right.
No, he's gonna do it in bits and pieces like Disciple John.
Yeah. I'll post the whole damn thing. Question what the default options are. Okay, so I'm going to do a poll here. Cry face if workers lost. Smiley face if you think workers won the debate. So let me say it again. If you think he lost the debate, crying face. If you think he won the debate, smiley face.
Definitely.
Damn. Oh, man. But yeah, I'll be uploading that section of the live onto YouTube. The entire debate.
Lizard Queen gave a smile. You're muted for 5 minutes.
No, she didn't understand the. She didn't understand the
So,
assignment.
so crying face if he lost the debate, smiley face if he won the debate. Not so. This is about workers for Christ. This one, if you think he lost. This one, if you think he won.
Cyber, you're muted for 5 minutes.
Yes, crying face. Dum, 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 dum. I'm finding that hilarious. He's over there
Cyber,
bitching
you're
and whining.
muted for 5 minutes. You're grounded.
Yeah, he is delusional. He's just as bad as Dawa.
Well, you've seen me and him go back and forth all the time on semantics, and I caught him earlier today, even before you and me, and he's like, "You're delusional." And I was like, "How about you stop focusing on me and focus on the debate with Spaz for later? Okay, you're gonna need your energy."
Yeah, Gemini Druid, we were going over Psalms 137:9, and how it applies to the psychology of not only the people, but what they thought the representation of their God's morality was. YouTube channel is KNOW, capital B, dot, capital S, dot, podcast. Yeah, like he it's just it was not a debate. It was just a flat out ass whooping.
Does
Haven't
the
seen
BS
one
stand
video
for
of the
bullshit?
cats helping there. What was that, Queenie?
Does the BS stand for bullshit?
Yep. No BS. No the bullshit. Yeah, I would love to
Oh,
see
you
Dawa versus Workers for Christ. That would be hilarious. And if
uh,
Dawa
that
ever
would be
tries to say that I wouldn't do a debate with him, numerous people, including the live on Jay's, shows that not only is he a liar because he quoted that he had been to numerous of my lives and numerous of my videos, and then not 30 seconds to 2 minutes later, he was like, "Well, I've only been to one of your lives, and you're just not worth the debate."
Dawa versus Workers for Christ. Dawa would
It's my
easily slap.
bandana. Thank you, Gemini
Dawa
Druid.
Dawa would slap Workers for Christ around.
I don't know. They're both full of shit, so.
Yeah, but it's just who piles it on heavier.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would still give it to Dawa on that one. Like if it was Dawa versus Workers, I'd still give it to Dawa, even though I've said it to Dawa's face, did I not, Adam, that he's a cowardice piece of shit.
Oh yeah, I was in the box. I would have jumped out for the.
You
for
had even
guys.
offered because he was the one that requested the debate and then ran from it, and then even Adam was like, "Yo, I know the people from Tart, so we can get this set up." And then he refused to hit us back up, and then jumped into Jay's live and was all like, "Yeah, blah 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 blah. You're this and this." I'm like, "Yo, dude, since you're here, let's have that debate. Let's explain this. I don't have to explain nothing."
Sounds cowardice to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Savage be smacking around Workers for Christ like, he's beating his meat on a Saturday morning. Like
I beat Alpha Wasabi's meat.
Funny part is, me and Savage have both been taking rounds out of Workers, and he doesn't understand it. Like,
are you sure about that, Alpha Wasabi?
Of course he won't, Canadian, because Canadian, I had asked you, a Christian, to be the host for our debate, and he refused to do it. Workers refused to let us have a Christian host for our debate. So of course he ain't gonna bring you up wild, because you're a Christian who calls him out on his
anyways,
shit.
hey guys, I'm gonna jump out and let Savage in while I go.
Yeah,
get
let's let Savage on for sure.
Okay.
Yo, I haven't Savage.
Savage, you still don't follow me, by the way.
What's up, Savage?
Oh shit, really?
Yeah,
how's
you
it
don't
going, man?
follow me, and I follow you.
I'll go follow you.
Man. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that ass whooping?
I actually, like I said, I wasn't able to watch it. I'm just like here for the after. I was at work all day. Like I just got off work, so.
Well, I'll be posting the debate on YouTube tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I was like adamant on getting that channel, because I was like, I need to see this because I want to just a nice good hour of laughter.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think it lasted more than 25 minutes.
User 9092775700906.
It just
shut the fuck up.
I tried to he posted a little while ago about the moral argument, William Lane Craig's version of it, which to me it was it was just begging the question first off, and that's why I was kind of confused. I'm like, why are you using this version of it? Because Craig's version is crap.
Yeah, he tried the same thing. He tried the same thing. He tried the same thing in the debate, right? And I was like, well, one, it's pleading to authority. Secondly, if you actually pay attention to what he just said that the New Testament and Old Testament contradict each other.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, but not really.
Basically, and as well, he was in the comments after replying to this, being like, well, you're calling it an assertion, and just you think it's debunking it just by calling it an assertion? I'm like, no, I'm not debunking objective morality. That's something we don't currently know about. I'm just saying your argument for it is bunk.
Yeah, it's shit.
Do better.
I've already whooped his ass when it comes to subjective and objective morality.
Because
I've proven that, especially as a Christian, right? This is how you defeat it, right? And I mean, you've already done it, but this is how I do it to fuck with them. I go, well, it's subjective whether you're on the mortal plane or the God plane, right? Because if it's on the God plane, it's subjective to its will. And if its will changes at any point, it is no longer objective, it's subjective. So when a God expresses guilt, expresses jealousy expresses
envy.
any humanistic concept. It is no longer a divine objective morality. It is subjective to his own changing whim.
Yeah, and like, given what we know, we can apparently know of whatever gods have been described, we can tell that they do change. Well, yeah, they quote change their minds here and there.
Yep.
Right. Like,
Onward, you need to take the 666 out of your name if you do not understand what Satanism is.
666 just stands for it just represents Nero.
Yeah. But like, I gotta make this. I made this video for him replying to his one of his beauty, naturalism can't explain why we perceive beauty, and I explained to him why we perceive beauty, and he's like, basically my argument was it's contextual, right? Like, you're not afraid of a baby lion because the baby lion isn't that much of a threat.
I love that video, by the way.
Thank you. I'm making a more in-depth version now because he comes back with more contextual things like, well, why do people find volcanoes beautiful? I'm like, probably because they're not standing right underneath the fucking volcano. Because I doubt if you were watching lava flow at you, you'd be sitting there going, oh, look how beautiful the lava is.
Let me touch it and cuddle it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, fuck, I'm getting out of here. This is not beautiful. This is dangerous.
Does not mean it's friendly.
Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of things that we take into consideration when we consider something beautiful or not, or threatening or not.
Well, that's like, for example, like there are a lot of people that think spiders are beautiful, but other people are like, oh, fuck. It's based off personal perception.
Like, I used to, my whole family, and actually my current and my fiance, are all afraid of spiders. I'm like the only one that will actually move them from the house. And I do that because I'm like, I have no problem with them. They're just another bug. They're just trying to survive. And if I can take it out of, obviously you girls don't like it, so I'll move it away from you. No biggie, right?
Right. Doesn't mean we have to kill it with fire. We're not the Catholic Church.
No. Not going to string it up on a stake and burn the witch.
Yep.
She's a witch. May we burn her?
I tried to explain that to him, and then within he completely ignored me pointing out it's contextual, and then brought up more contextual points in his rebuttal to it.
Yeah.
Why are we protecting elephants?
I tried being nice to his ass, but he's fucking stupid.
Oh man, I got DMs of him telling me oh, you shouldn't be rude, don't be rude. I'm like, okay, well, you want to talk politely, I'll be polite, right? So I start being polite, and he's then he was continuously talking down to me after that point, and I'm like, bro, what the hell, man? I thought you wanted to be polite.
Right, he tried to do the same thing to me during our debate where he was like, well, you're quoting the English standard, and I yelled at him. I was like, I just read the fucking Hebrew, you dumbass.
It is. It is a Monty Python reference.
Tis but the flesh wound.
I was crap, what was it? One of these, trying to remember, I'm just just that made me, I lost my train of thought because I'm just laughing at that. I just fucking read it in Hebrew.
Yeah, Ashres ye yohez win epes et o lalayek el la hasha shala.
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, that's the Hebrew.
Yeah. I don't know Hebrew, so
and then I even what's even worse, right, is when I read it to him, I then broke it down. I was like, when you read this, and then you notice when you read it right here and you see that little line underneath, that's a pronunciation variation, which means it's an action, not a description. And so I even broke the Hebrew down for him.
It was I told him that it's kind of suspicious that this god also has human-like traits.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I'm like, well, it's not stupid if you consider it from my point of view as this is a creation of humans. Mm-hmm. So of course it takes on traits of ours because we just imprinted our traits onto this god. That's why it's jealous. That's why
we do it to animals. We do it all the time.
Right?
Forgot the linguistic term for it, but it's a common thing that humans do. We describe things with human characteristics that aren't even alive.
it's like a form of pareidolia almost.
Onward, if you keep acting like an idiot, I'm gonna treat you like an idiot.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it's like a form of pareidolia, because like especially when you're like trying to find like beauty and like, well, why do we see beauty in the world, right? It's like, well, like because of our evolution and how we observe and interact with our world.
So like my
Right?
question
Like,
would be is why is it that I like my wife who has a fat ass and hips and shit, but other men, like you, just like twigs, like, why is it that I find this beautiful as opposed to what you do, right? Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly. It's
and like we
subjective
don't
to
even
one's perception.
and like we don't even see the full range of colors on the spectrum. So like, have you ever seen like what a bee sees compared to what we see on like a
Yep.
flower?
Yep.
Yeah, like, so how can we like objectively find an objective beauty standard if we can't even like consider all the colors?
Right.
Like,
and what about the people who are colorblind? Like, what are you saying to them, man? What a douche. Workers for Christ, man. Like, and I'm done being nice to him too. Like, I tried my best. I was the last one amongst us who was honestly trying to help him educate, etc. But now I'm just gloves are off, man. Like every time I interact with him, I'm just gonna absolutely bury his ass.
well, I'm gonna make him that video rebutting or like explaining where he went wrong in his rebuttal to my video, and then I think I'm just gonna like let him flounder because he was fun for a little bit, but that's like he doesn't want to see it from another perspective, and like that's quite obvious in the way he talks to other people of differing belief systems or lack of belief systems. Right?
And I love
like,
how he tries to play victim too, like be nice, but like you'll see him in other people's, comment sections all the time just being a complete dick.
Like, yeah. Like he's like calling me slippery the other day because I didn't want to like point out that like as far as I can tell, morality is fairly subjective, but I'm not going to write off completely the idea of objective morality. Just I have no standard to find this objective morality, so I have to use the subjective purpose we have currently.
Yep. Now, what were you saying, Queenie?
Frodo says if you'd only observe and react to the comments.
I do. I just don't do every single comment.
It's live. Respect the way he runs his live.
I mean, we are kind of having a conversation. How do you expect him to talk and read? Just saying.
Well, I mean, I can, but like I'm also not going to interrupt my guests while they're mid-conversation.
Exactly.
It's called RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Suck it to me.
Yep.
I'm so sad I missed that live though. I was like, it was at 6. I was like, oh cool, so I could like see it right after work. And I'm like no, 6 Eastern. Like, oh.
Because Randall Robinson, all caps refers to yelling references.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, definitely throw it up on your YouTube. I kind of want to watch the play-by-play.
Yeah, like you're gonna laugh your ass off, man, because I'm also stoned right now, and I was stoned during the debate.
Oh fuck! Like, if I like, I only record my videos sober because I get a little stuttery when I'm stoned, and I don't want to
like when dealing with most Christians, especially ones like workers, I can't not be stoned because if I'm not, I will drop the John hammer on them. Are you familiar with what I did to John?
Not exactly.
Queenie, you want to tell him?
Tell him what?
What I did to John, Disciple John?
Oh, he got condescending with Disciple John because John was being a total fucking bitch.
John tried to say that I didn't actually have my degree, that I was a liar, that he tried to say that I said that the Christian God ate babies, and
he said, "Ask God."
Yeah.
I've seen you like show your like certificates and stuff on like videos and like because it's like when you reply to a comment going like you don't know what you're fucking talking about, and you're just like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess all these books I read don't mean shit. I guess this stuff over here doesn't mean shit. I guess these degrees
don't mean
and
shit. Yep.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, so this all doesn't mean crap. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
His degree.
Yep. And then to top it off, Yeah. He claimed to have a degree, and I was like, where did you get your degree? He's like, well, I got it from God. I was like, oh, well, then have God present it. And then, like, he was slandering me, like, hard. He was all like, well, yeah, he lied about this, and he said this, this, and this, and, like, for, like, a half hour straight, like, I tore John's ass a new one.
Well, like, I've caught workers being just straight up dishonest, too. Like, a couple videos back, it was like, he was like, his excuse was like, I'm reposting old stuff. I'm like, okay, but we came to an agreement about how we should go forward on this subject that you obviously have an issue with. It was on slavery.
Yep.
And I'm like, so if you post an old videos saying the same shit you were back then, seems very disingenuous at the very least, and
yes,
blatantly dishonest at the worst. So what are you doing here, man?
Yep.
Right? Are you like,
hey, Queenie, I'm gonna replace you with Wild real quick. Because so Wild will give a much better in-depth with what happened to John, because, like, you got to hear this shit, dude. Like. Oh. Yo, Wild, go ahead and update Savage on the absolute ass whooping I gave John.
No, so basically, I was just going through lives, and then I found John was live, so I just decided to watch a little bit. Next thing I know, he starts talking about Spaz. So I messaged Spaz saying, hey, listen, he's talking about you. Didn't say anything.
That's all he said. That's all he said. He was like, hey, he's talking shit. He didn't even say talking shit. He's like, he's just talking about you.
Yeah.
So Spaz comes in, and Disciple John starts talking shit about him, saying he's lying, and starts putting false words into Spaz's mouth. So Spaz comes in with one of his other accounts and just completely destroys John.
Like, I got him to admit that he believes that every miscarriage that a woman has suffered is due to sin and God's plan. I had him admit that he thinks that we should listen to pedophiles and their point of view. I got him to, when I called him out about the shit about me supposedly saying that God eats babies and is a cannibal, like, every single person that he brought up next to me also told him that no, Spaz has never said that. The only thing he's ever said was in regarding to communion with the Catholic Church as a ritual, in which I called it as a joke, and I even clarified that it was a joke, that it was cannibalism by proxy.
Well, technically speaking...
Which he admitted to. He agreed to.
Well, yeah, technically speaking, like, Catholics believe it turns into the literal body of Christ and the literal blood of Christ. So, in that context, it is cannibalism. You are literally eating another person's body. That's cannibalism.
Yeah, and so, like I said, he admitted to that, but then refused to admit that he lied.
John also would refuse to let me speak.
It's like when I tell people, I'm like, people are like, Jesus died for our sins. How is that immoral? I'm like, you don't think human sacrifice is immoral?
Right.
Like, he was 100% human, right?
Right. Right, and then, like, I've even had people like, hey, it's okay to kill babies because if God commands it. And it's like, well, now we know not to let you around our kids.
Cough,
like,
cough,
please.
for Christ, cough, cough.
Yep.
Yeah, I never understood that whole, like, I was like, when I said unjustified killings in one comment, and he made a video about it, and then he was like, all the killings have been justified. And I was like, I'm not even going to touch that, because I don't even want to hear your excuse to why babies are justified being murdered by a god. Like, there's nothing you can tell me that's going to be like, well, the babies were going to grow up to be evil. Then you kill them when they're grown up and evil then.
Yeah, like, so I want to address I love stitches. That's actually one of the most common and accepted terms, that the serpent, being Azazel, beguiled Eve, basically took the form of Adam. She partook of his knowledge, partook of, everything else, committed a sexual act, and that it was the spawn. He seeded Cain while Adam seeded Abel.
Oh, and hence why, like, Cain was all like smashy, smashy, rocky, rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there's more to it than that. Cain's gift or offering was refused, while Abel's was accepted, and Cain was like, "Well, fuck you then."
Yeah. I was tasked to be a farmer, and I gave you the best of my farming, and it wasn't good enough. But my little shit brother over here kills an animal and spills blood, and yeah, that's okay. Okay, fuck you then. Like smash, smash.
Yeah. But like God's like that though. It's always been about the blood.
Abel wasn't. It wasn't that Abel was righteous. He killed him because the offering wasn't accepted to God, and the only reason why Abel was considered.
Cain was jealous. That was it.
Yeah, that's all it was. And Abel was literally. It's because he gave a blood sacrifice. Yo, Van Mom, do not look at me and tell me to look it up. You do not want this smoke.
I mean, we can go to the verses. We can go to Genesis.
Yeah, we could. I should just read it to them in Hebrew and see if she even understands it.
Okay, we are not talking about Jacob and Esau. We are talking about Cain and Abel. It says in the Bible that they were both offered gifts. Cain's being the best of his gatherings of being a farmer, and Abel just sacrificing a sheep.
Yep, from his flock.
And God, being the lover of blood, was obviously more into Abel's.
Mm-hmm. Because you're in a blood cult.
All right. That. Spaz, let's go to Genesis. She says look it up.
Oh, well, now I'm not going. I was about to say, like, hey, I got to go anyway because I'm about to head home. But now I'm not going anywhere. Hell, I will watch this go down.
Hang on. Let me go to it.
I got to remember where it exactly is. Is it Genesis 5? No. Genesis 4.
I was going to say, I think it's 6.
Is it 6? Corruption of the human race.
See, the one I have at home, it like has
Which
all that
verses
crap
is
at the
it?
beginning.
And then I'll.
I think it's 4.
Let's see. I'm looking up which verse it is real quick. I think you're right. I think it's 4. Yep, 4. And it's chapter 4, verses 3 through 5. It's looking like. So.
Yeah, I was right. 4.
Let me bring it up in both Hebrew and English here so we can go step by
I got it up.
step.
I've now officially lost my atheist privileges.
Yeah, she said look it up, so here's us looking it up from the text.
I mean, I could just pull out my Torah, but I'm lazy, so I'm doing it not in here.
So what was the rebuttal to this? It wasn't because of the sacrifice that Cain got all.
Yeah, the one person is saying. One person was saying that Cain killed Abel because Abel was righteous, when that is not the matter of the fact whatsoever.
He was called righteous, but that doesn't mean...
He was called righteous, but that is not why Cain killed him.
Okay, so we have Wahebel, Hadayek Gam,
Wait, Spaz, before you continue.
Sno, Ilmin Ilhelbian Han, Weya Isha, Yahweh, El Hebel, El Min Chayatao, which is, and Abel brought also he of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and looked favorably Yahweh upon Abel and his offering.
Okay, I'll read it from mine. I will start with 3. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected.
Yep, so it had nothing to do with Abel's righteousness. It had to do with the rejection of his sacrifice. Bam. Damn. Do you even read your book?
It was purely of jealousy.
No. Get wrecked, son.
Hold a sec. Hold a sec for what? We literally just read it for you. And I read it in Hebrew.
Yeah, we can hold on. What you got
Step
for
up
us?
your game.
You want me to pop off? They can pop on so that you can
They
pop
don't have
off?
enough followers.
Oh.
It's always the ones with no fucking followers.
Make some content.
Oh, now it's Hebrews 11:4. No, no, we're not even gonna go there. Because Van Mom, we already proved you wrong. Admit you're wrong.
I admit she's wrong.
Surprised who hasn't? Workers for Christ? I mean, I've been lied this whole time. Workers was the one that ran. He could have stayed. We could have continued our conversation. He's the one that went, well, are we done? Because he didn't like the fact that, one, he tried to say, well, you're using the English, and I read it to him in Hebrew. And then explained what the Hebrew pronunciation was, and then explained it in English. And then we addressed the Old Testament as a whole. And then he tried to bring up the New Testament, and then we addressed the New Testament, but then he didn't want to address the New Testament. So then we stepped away from the New Testament, and then again he tried to readdress the New Testament. Like, the dude couldn't even stay fucking focused. And then he tried to bring up a appeal to an authority, which the appeal to authority he quoted literally proved that there was a complete different distinction between the New Testament and Old Testament interpretations.
Van Mom ran.
Yeah, Van Mom ran. I have to go get pho. See ya. See, this is why atheists and other actual Yeshuans don't take you Christians seriously.
Right, hold up. She says 11:4. I just want to read it just to
Go for
more
it.
or stand on our point.
I got a bazounce. You guys have a good
You
one.
too, man. Thanks for
Take care,
coming,
man.
man. We got to do a duet live one of these days.
So
Yeah, I'm down.
for what's her
I got.
name?
I'll figure out time.
All right.
Van Mom, here's Hebrews 11:4 for you. It says, "It was by faith that Abel brought more of an acceptable gift offering to God than Cain did. Abel's offering gave evidence that he was a righteous man, and God showed his approval of his gifts. Although Abel is long dead, he still speaks to us by his example of faith." So that is just
showing that the
Abel,
God was favorable over Abel. So again, Cain was jealous of the favor over Abel over Cain and had nothing to do with Abel's righteousness.
that's just Abel being called a righteous man, and God showed his approval of that.
Yep.
Cain was jealous that Abel's gift was approved, so he killed his brother.
Yep.
Like
These
I'm a new
Christians love
Christian.
being proven wrong, don't they?
I'm a new Christian, and I know this shit.
Yeah, but you also give sermons, so.
That's fair.
Which, if you're okay with it, do you mind if we go over? Can you resend those sermons for me in Discord? And I would like for us to actually go through one of them some point tonight, if you're down.
Do you want me to, like, direct message or just put it in the group itself?
Put it in the spiritual theology channel.
Okay.
And then we'll go over it.
I'll just copy the links from the direct message from here and post it that way.
Right on. I do have to close this out because I got to spend a little time with the kid, get him to bed, get some food in me, and then I'll be hopping on Discord. So, does that work for everybody?
Our ending song still has to be Sublime. Rivers of Babylon.
Lily says Abel made the better offering, and God allowed him to be murdered. Basically, to an extent, yes.
Hey, temperamental fool. Before you try to say you could school anyone, how about you actually make some fucking content?
Oh, I was hoping he had 50. All right, hold up. Let him try to school me in the comments. I'm weak in my faith.
All right, I'll give it a second.
Come at me. How am I weak in my faith?
Yes, I'll be going on Discord Nocturnal in a little while.
But Baz, his content exists like his God does. Either it's non-existent, or his content is outside of this time and of this realm of universe, so outside of time and space.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with
that's
his
a good
content's
show.
not.
Yeah, you got. Okay, well then we'll save it for
Come at me.
tomorrow and we'll watch it together.
Come at me, temperamental.
Yo, weak.
Yo, weak. Hey, temperamental.
Notice how he can't actually address it. He just has to throw
Hold up.
shit in ad hominems.
Temperamental. I planned services on more than one occasion, and I've been invited to speak at more than one church. I don't think a church would invite me to preach a sermon in their building if I was weak in my faith.
Get down.
Temperamental.
Get down.
Should we talk
Good
about
boy.
weak? Like your
Good boy.
God is towards iron chariots.
Book of Judges.
At least
Gotta
I don't
love it.
break
Hold
down
up.
when I jump in a car.
Hold up, I got this, Adam. But no, please. Do I know what a church is? Well, in today's society, church is a building. But if you want to get real technical, church is the congregation. It doesn't matter where you are.
Shamala hamala, kunama maple.
Yeah, congregation meant 7 or more people. And I tried calling that out to a Christian on a debate, on her live, and she broke down and quit and stopped her live because I called her out on her BS.
Yeah, just like Workers for Christ. Are we done yet? Are we done here? I need to run away, lick my runes, and call more bullshit.
Yeah, keep coming at me, temperamental.
Temperamental ain't no shit.
Y'all are so amazing stupid. I mean...
Did you mean you
amazing
all?
Stupid? Do you mean amazingly?
Did you mean you all?
You still never answered my question. You still never answered my question. How am I weak in my
He
belief?
can't answer your question.
Please.
How could he?
Tell me.
He don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, he spelled you all wrong. It's Neal. Neal. Or you Southern.
Well, he also says amazing stupid. If he wants to say that, it should be amazingly.
I'm going to go ahead and say temperamental. You're from the deep south of Texas. Your family tree looks like a wreath. Your favorite holiday is Halloween because you pumpkin.
That's funny.
You got a rebuttal yet, temperamental? Do I have to keep schooling you?
Man, we've corrupted you so much, Wild, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, how do every time that I hit the are you good or bad, and I just keep getting good, and you're 99% evil.
Temperamental. You said I am weak in my faith and weak in my your words are you are weak in your belief. I asked you how am I weak in my belief, and you never answered my question.
Then you can.
Hey, little buddy.
He's probably a 14-year-old troll and knows that he's actually backed in a corner, so all he got is ad hominems.
I mean, get 950 more followers and come on a live chat with me.
Guarantee that'll never happen.
Or you could
I
go into
prophesize
Discord.
that it'll never happen.
I would love to see you join the Discord, and then you can have a video chat with Wild.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
Maybe. As in, I'm gonna say it, but never actually do it.
Yeah, so before you try to say I'm weak in my belief, I've been invited to more than one church to speak, and they wouldn't do that if they thought I was
And mind you, he's on an atheist's live. You got that weak sauce temperamental. But alright, I'm gonna let you guys go. That way I also don't have as long as a video to edit out to get that debate out. So, I'll see you guys shortly. Just give me like an hour, hour and a half. Tops.
Okay, and temperamental, what do I believe? I believe in the Christian God, and I have faith and a personal relationship with him. I don't need the religion.
Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.
Yeah, later, man.